Peace, family. Peace, peace, peace. All right. Let's open this up with some music. Let me know if y'all hear this.
World full of busy bees working. I ain't never met a free person. I don't get along with these earthlings. I'm trying to seek purpose, fight for something I believe's worth it. For the curse, I'ma reverse it. I don't dream cause I sleep nervous. No, yet I keep flirting. Face death like a Steve Irwin. Whole heat, I'ma drink thermos. Tell the bartender keep serving. I'm trying to be perfect. Using dirty shit to clean dirt with. Only happy when the weed burning. Traded oxygen to breathe urban. Smoke till I see curtains. Lungs fail and they cease working. Error something that I need urgent. Suffocating trying to squeeze words in. What would I do with my last breath? Would I yell? Would I cry? Would I laugh? Cause I'm glad that I'm past that mess. Till I pass, never felt that blessed. Even bad breath when you living is better than good breath. When you lack flesh, got a glass chest that I cracked and my lost breath hasn't made it back yet. I'm on my last breath, walking the last step. I'm on the last test. Final answer and my last guess. What I gotta pass next? I'm on my last quest. So much harder than my last track. Mad bless, hope I can outlast death. Grim Reaper got my address. Down on my last cent. Cash spent from a check I don't even have yet from my last rent. Sweater shit has got me mad stressed. I inherited my dad's debt. Never got to hear his last breath. And the only reason I ain't passed yet, I'm the first ever for the last left.
I let the record show. I let the tech explode. Put up the weapon show. Pull up the Texaco. Knuckles in Mexico. Call up the technical. They know the text will blow. Shot that I'm Mexico. Turn you to vegetable. Body electrical. Acid and alkaline. Body so flexible. The shooter's feast like an Uber Eats. Got a group of these scooter bees. But letting the Uzi Aruga speak. An American got up in Cuba eats. The powers they seek and powers the weak. They follow and creeps. Powers that be. Inherit the world from cowards and sheep. Bit to the mountains, top towers and peaks. Flowers and sweets and showered our feet. The lightning and thunder that shower the sleep. Shower the D's. This not a verse, this our receipts.
What would I do with my last breath? Would I yell? Would I cry? Would I laugh? Cause I'm glad that I'm past that mess. Till I pass, never felt that blessed. Even bad breath when you living is better than good breath. When you lack flesh, got a glass chest that I cracked and my lost breath hasn't made it back yet. I'm on my last breath, walking the last step. I'm on the last test. Final answer and my last guess. Wonder what I gotta pass next. I'm on my last quest. So much harder than my last track. Mad bless, hope I can outlast death. Grim Reaper got my address. Down on my last cent. Cash spent from a check I don't even have yet from my last rent. Sweater shit has got me mad stressed. I inherited my dad's debt. Never got to hear his last breath. And the only reason I ain't passed yet, I'm the first ever in the last left.
It's like a track finish. I attract women, they the bad women. I'ma splash in them, leave a bag with them. When I raise seeds to be mad different. If I die now, I'm coming back in them. Cause they dad missing, but they cash tripping. Cause they royalty, so they brag different. Ain't no ass kissing, never had feelings. Seen a white victim in a black witness. Mac gripping on my last mission. Yak sipping, blowing blackism. Gat missing, he was lack slipping. Smack hit him, now we act different. Apparition, the bad vision. The Mac that chip him and crash the system. Uncle Tom, cause you that willing. Fuck the law, I'm going back to living. Astral prisms of black religions. Activisms. Conversations, sacrilegious, the palms of Satan, black magicians, Babylon erasing, raise our hands to God we praising, hustling, the marathon we racing, Nipsey at the finish line, he waiting.
This is a request. You dig?
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, go. If I can't snubs to the rockets. For the love of the chopsticks. Ran up from the plug and I pop shit. Faced with immeasurable odds. Some of you niggas found pleasure in God. Measuring rod, they treasure their jobs. Athletic build, moving with purpose. Tapped in the magnetic fields, moving with serpents. Took my brokers a stroker. Al Roker couldn't predict the storm that followed, the porn that followed. Same a tree that formed for Rollo. We made it rain and we burnt muddy. Bentley truck, interior burnt honey. Anyway, I take respect over riches any day. I take neck from your bitches any day. Anyway, that's a neck full of riches any straight. Shifting through paradigms, the color of Geechee Dan. Drifting through the Carolines, color in the Geechee land. Time will tell. We move around the 33rd parallels, like Coney Island carousels. Fell asleep in Roswell, woke up in Cozumel. Pyramid hopping, chariot shopping. #1 seller, author of conscious fiction. Composition, confidence driven. Continent drifting, a walking contradiction with a contradiction. Brooms and mops, Mr. Clean, we conquered the kitchen. Facts and fiction, contrary to popular predictions. Red pill, popping your prescriptions, stopping your addictions. Yeah, bitch, I'm with the
Woo! Skirt. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. All right. That right there is Bill Bixby. Bill Bixby. Go and check that out on your streaming services. I don't know if that's on Scorpion King 2. We still trying to figure that one out. I'm about to get my good brother. I'm about to get the project A&R'd by a legend. I'm gonna just say that. I ain't gonna let too much out the bag. But you know, that's some early drip. You know what I'm talking about? That's some early Red Pillar, just to warm the family up and let y'all know that I'm on this. That I'm on the way. You know, I think we have a January 21st delivery date for Scorpion King 2. Summer solstice. We're gonna launch that. I think that's the summer eclipse. So Scorpion King 2, tentative date, June 21st. We're gonna start taking pre-orders tomorrow. How about it? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, and please believe, like, I'm not gonna brag or nothing, but during the COVID-19 lockdown, when niggas had stay-at-home orders, I was in the studio. You know what I'm talking about? I went ahead and bought my own studio, right? I went ahead and bought my own studio. I bought a home studio. You know what I'm saying? I got my lights, I got my production. I done bought green screens, all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm working, you know, and I hope you working too. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's the only thing that you can do is work and die. Right? That's it. That's the only thing you can do. You got to put in some work. That's what you've been sent here to do. You've been sent here to work. You've been sent here to work. You ain't been sent here to jerk. You ain't been sent here to just twerk. You've been sent here to work. Right? You got to work this shit. This thing is workable. Right? This is workable. This whole thing right here, this game. People talk about, you playing the game. Well, games get won and lost. You could win this game. You could win this game. This game is about the work. However you interpret it. Some people do the shadow work. Some people doing spiritual work. Some people are sex working. Some people are doing the dirty work. Some people are doing the heavy lifting. Some people are out here doing the night shift work. They doing the work under the disguise of whatever. They just working. I mean, work makes the world go around. This world that we live in, or this reality that we belong in, this is a kinetic, this is an energetic, this is an energy field. This planet works off of energy, magnetic fields, like I said in the verse, tapped into magnetic fields, moving like serpents. Like this we got to tap into the magnetic fields, because this whole thing is about energy. The body is electric. Everything around you is electric. You know what I'm talking about? Dr. Sabi taught us, and other people taught us as well. And now science is finally coming out conveniently, all of a sudden, science is coming out to validate what was being said. Okay. There's some articles that just came out. Blue Pill posted it, talking about the electric body, right? So before I even begin, let me welcome everybody in the building to another episode of Third Eye Thursdays. All right. Another episode of Third Eye Thursdays. Welcome, family. Tonight you are in for a treat. We are in the midst of a Scorpion full moon. And I'm going to tell you this, y'all. This moon ain't no joke, bro. I've been in my feelings today, man. I've been in my feelings for a few days. Like this moon is intense, man. This shit is not a joke. This one right here, this is not a joke. All of the trappings for Scorpio is here. Death is in the air. The people are riled up, right? People are angry. The melanated people are angry, right? The melanated people want revenge. The melanated people's feelings, our hearts, once again, have been pierced as a collective, right? As a collective, we're in pain during this Scorpio moon. And Scorpio's dealing with death, and it's Pluto retrograde, and Pluto deals with death. And they killed that young man. They killed 2 young men on camera, right? In broad daylight. And our people are feeling it. I know that I'm feeling it. I know that I couldn't even do what I needed to do. And, I was supposed to go to New York, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to sit home and research and prepare my lecture for tonight. I wanted to get in my little cubicle in my shell, and I wanted to pour all of that energy into the research, because if not, I might be online ranting somewhere and going in with the veins sticking out the side of my neck, putting myself further into Guantanamo Bay. You feel me? So I was like, let me redirect this anger. Let me redirect this fire that I have. Let me redirect this Scorpion energy where I taste blood. I'm seeing red, bro. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I don't see any other color right now. So I just was like, you know what? Let me just put that energy into some research and start digging. And digging I did. And I came up with some interesting things that I'm going to share tonight. If you're watching this on the gram, I suggest you move over to YouTube so you can catch the visuals. All right. Know the Ledge Media is the channel. Come and catch the visuals. You feel me? You know, May is a very powerful month, right? Sun is out. Spring is here. The corona shit is melting away. People are coming outside. Everybody is happy to finally defeat the Rona. Cities are beginning to open back up. And then we start seeing a lot of the fuckery take place. Right? This month ain't even beginning. Them niggas told you that the killer hornets is out here. Then they start dropping out videos where them niggas was tearing bees up. Right? So you like, damn. The motherfucking hornets, the niggas came from Asia to come and eat the bees. I thought the bees was endangered. So if the bees already endangered, right? The bees they already got smoked with nature. Niggas is 5G is out here wiping out the bees. Now they got to deal with the Asian hornets. Right? So I wanna tap into some research tonight if you let me, if you allow me to do such. Before I do that, I want to say thank you to all of the students. I call y'all the KT aliens. They came through on Cinco de Mayo, right? Cinco de Mayo was on the 5th. Okay. Cinco de Mayo is very it's a very that like I'm saying the energy is up because Cinco de Mayo 555 hit that the energy on that shit was like this. Then the next day, I see the thing about the brother Ahmed. Keep in mind, we're in the holy month of Ramadan, right? So the brother with this Muslim attribute. Then I see the other brother in the car in Indianapolis, and he gets killed on Facebook Live, right? This brother was active in the military. He was once again, right? These are the tell because I'm watching the synchronicities of how the universe is showing things. When I start seeing military or ex-military, the way that my thing is wired up is switch right back into the research that I was doing about military. These are triggers. The military, I won't call them operatives because that's a disrespectful term. The military archetypes in the black community is Mika Johnson and what's my good brother who got killed in Baton Rouge. His name was Cosmo Setemra. That was his conscious name, but his real name was Gavin Long. Right? They carried out. They were the ones who are the foundation of what they call the Black Identity Extremists. They are the ones who are they're two cop killers, right? They're the trinity of the cop killers who martyred the quote unquote victims. This pantheon of victims, I call it the color wars. Instead of the Gullah wars, I call it the color wars. It started with my young brother. It was a young man in Flatbush. His name was Kamani Gray, right? Gray, right? Kamani Gray. He got killed in 2013. He got shot in the back 7 times. As a result of him being murdered by the NYPD, that kicked off of riots in Flatbush, in East Flatbush, called the 90s, where there's a large Caribbean population. That Caribbean population started rioting, going against the police. That Caribbean population is also gang affiliated. Kamani Gray was gang affiliated. Kamani Gray is actually the young man who smacked Pop Smoke on World Star. This was 10 years ago. If anybody remembers Pop Smoke, rise in power, rest in paradise. He got smacked. The smack went viral. Everybody, the shit was like a World Star moment, right? And he got smacked for being the Crip by some Bloods, right? Now, the one who smacked him, his name was Kamani Gray, right? He was well known as, amongst the youth. He was well known in the streets. The police killed him. Now, Bobby Shmurda and Rowdy Rebel and all of them from East Flatbush from the 90s, they come out of the smoke of those riots. Those riots happened in 2013. Right after that, around 2014, we get introduced to Bobby Shmurda, the Shmurda gang, GS9, that Crip, that section of Brooklyn where the Crips were running, the gang culture with the Crips and whatnot. So that's the beginning of that. Now, in order to carry on, in order to keep up with this narrative that I have, or in order to keep up with the research that I've been doing, I would highly encourage the audience or the students in the audience to go and get the lecture entitled Fear of a Blackamoor Messiah 2020 Year of Fear, Part 1 and Part 2. Now, I did that in January. Okay, I did it in January. I did it in late January. I entitled the lecture 2020 Year of Fear, based off of what I was seeing, and based off of the foresight that I had, and based off of the research that I was doing, and based off of the rituals that were being done by way of the small hat control publications, or the media publications in New York that are controlled by the quote unquote Israelis, and they were putting out covers that were inducing fear. They called it the return of fear, right? I did a Melanin Monday where I showed it. It was on the cover of the actual flyer for the show. And the cover said the return of fear. Now, the reason why they were saying this is because leading into the New Year's in New York City, there was a lot of quote unquote anti-Jewish, what they call anti-Jewish attacks. They were being violently people were being apprehensive towards them. There was a stabbing upstate New York in Rockland County. A melanated man was charged for that. He went in, I think it was like New Year's or something. He went into a rabbi's home and stabbed about 20 of them. Then they had a shooting in Jersey City where they blamed it on the Hebrew Israelites. Now, when they blamed the shooting on the Hebrew Israelites, there was no rebuttal for the quote unquote slander, and there was no rebuttal for the quote unquote for the law enforcement painting the Hebrew Israelites as not just a homeland terroristic threat, but an active threat that's out here killing police because police died in New Jersey, and they were out here killing Jewish people because they ran into a bakery, a Jewish bakery, and got to spraying. You know what I'm talking about? So because nobody rebutted that, or there was no challenge to that, the Jewish run media was running with this narrative that the Hebrew Israelites, who are a humongous a humongous sect all over America. You know, they got the hate map and they have them in all of these different places. So when they began to build that narrative in New York, I was like, yeah, they on a fear shit. And they're about to start cooking, because it's one thing to have the white Anglo-Saxon Protestants on a propaganda campaign. But when you get the small hats on a propaganda campaign, they control propaganda. They control media. They control the higher limits of this thing. They control big tech. They control big pharma. They control a lot of things. They have a lot of interest in the quote unquote industries, not just in America, on a global scale. They control big diamonds in Africa, big gold. They got their hands in big oil. So I'm like, these people are cooking, and they up to their old tricks because I don't trust them. Lo and behold, fast forward to where we're at today, you will understand why we are in what is called the year of fear. But I want you to go and get both of those classes. They're about 4 to 5 hours each. They're available. They'll be available on netterflix.com. Let me put up netterflix.com. I have to remind the family. I have so many things that I'm involved in. I have to remind the family every time that we get live. We're going to have more promo being rolled out. Of course, you know, this is a soft rollout because of the times and the situations and the circumstances that we're in. But as the time progresses, we will roll out. We'll have a grand opening for Netterflix. We'll have it in the way that we supposed to have it. Like royalty, like some big, in a ballroom somewhere in New York City or in the A and whatnot. But for right now, go to Netterflix and sign up, become a member, support your brothers who are out here controlling their media. We're controlling our content, right? We cannot be silenced. They cannot censor us. We will not be told how to talk or when to talk or what to talk about, because, that's what is taking place, on these quote unquote platforms. They do not want to be deplatformed, and I have no problem with them not wanting to be deplatformed. And I feel their pain. I would never want anybody to get deplatformed because of the fact that I have to tell the truth. So instead of putting anybody at risk and their YouTube checks at risk, we went ahead and we built our own streaming platform. This took us years to put together, years and years, but it's finally here. And I I'm excited about that. And you'll be able to stream all of the lectures that we've been doing for about 10 years as soon as we get all of our material from the people that steal it. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people out here that will steal your footage, you know what I mean, and hold on to the shit, because your footage is you're the most important, the most valuable, and the most sought after piece of intellectual property that you can have, not just in this community more so, but definitely in this community. They want you, they want that more than your books. They want that more than something that you can write or draw. It's your footage, it's your you know, your likeness, and maybe 1 or 2 hours of your cloth. You know what I'm talking about? You know. So going back to what I was breaking down and speaking of, you know, there is something going on right now that I feel is a psyops, and I'm gonna get into it because I don't want to be here all night, and I feel that y'all don't want to be here all night either, and we want to get into the lesson. So let's get into the lesson, okay? Let me go ahead and share the screen. No more shopping sprees. Shout out to Professor Griff. Shout out to Supernova Slum. All right. If the family is not aware or doesn't know, on May 15th, we have an upcoming lecture entitled Fear of a Black Planet 2. No, Fear of a Black Planet 2020. We did a lecture entitled Fear of a Black Planet 2 in 2017, right? And as a result of the lecture that we did in 2017, when if you go on the Eventbrite page, we have an Eventbrite. You could go to Eventbrite. You could click on the link in YouTube right in the description, and the Eventbrite link is right there. Or you could go to Eventbrite, and inside of the search bar, all you got to put is Fear 2020, and it'll take you there. And in the inserts, we have our 2017 presentation. And if you watch that presentation, about 2 hours and 30 minutes from the presentation that Professor Griff delivered, to the presentation that Supernova Slum delivered, to the presentation that I delivered. This was in 2017 in Baltimore, Maryland. Damn near 89.9% of the information that was delivered is consistent to what we're seeing today. It was ahead of its time. It was prophetic. It is in a direct alignment to the quote unquote atmosphere, the political atmosphere, the social atmosphere, and the quote unquote state of mind of Black America right now. So because we were so on point and so ahead of time, and we had our ears so close to the pulse of the people, it is indicative that we come amongst you in a week or two and we present to you information that maybe 3 years later from now we will receive and look back and be like, damn, them brothers was on it because they were here forecasting once again, right? The proof is in the pudding. You know, we have to come up with a system where we could begin to gauge, or we could begin to somewhat measure the information that our scholars have delivered over the years and begin to determine who is official with the information and who is not. That is very important. I feel that that is extremely important. You dig? That is of extreme importance that we come up with a system where we can begin who's on point and who is not. There's some people putting out dangerous information. There's some people introducing y'all to dangerous people. There's some people out here with information that's regurgitated. There's some people who are like, yo, this is going to happen, and it don't happen. Do you know something? Somebody put me on a QAnon the other day, right? Shout out to my brother Angel. So he put me on, me and him almost had a mini debate about QAnon. And he was like, you know what, Red? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw a nugget at you. He said Michael Flynn is going to be pardoned this week, right? He said, this is what QAnon is telling him. Me and him were talking earlier, maybe on Monday or Sunday. He said, this is how we're going to gauge it. Michael Flynn is coming home. I was like, cool. If Michael Flynn comes home, then I'll hit you back on the phone and we'll have a further conversation. Well, while I was doing this lecture, Michael Flynn came home. Okay, so there's something about the QAnon organization, or the Q, whoever Q is. He's been on point with some of his information. Then I read another article, and they said that they were going to shut down the quote unquote New York City Transit because they were going to rescue certain individuals and they were going to carry out certain exercises. And lo and behold, yesterday they shut down the New York City Transit for the first time in 115 years. Somebody knows something. So when it comes to information like that, all right, I'm cool with that. But other information that's completely off kilter, nah, we can't do that. Not in 2020. You niggas had enough time to figure this shit out and get your shit together and do some research. Not in 2020, fam. So without any further ado, I don't to this lecture and whatnot, but we have guests in the building. So let me open up the floor and bring in my guests for the night, and we'll continue with the lesson, okay? But I don't want to have my guests waiting. So without any further ado, caller from the 404, Brother Blue Pill, peace.
Peace, love, and light. What's good, my brother?
All is well, brother. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. I'm just coming out of a meditation, so I'm still speaking at this particular pace and just collecting my thoughts. This is a very intense moon, and it comes at a very critical juncture. You know what I'm saying? And
That's
it's resonating. It's affecting people differently. You know what I mean?
A lot of things are culminating today. People that you might have not been avoiding and not been keeping a super social distance from, they on your backs and they on your tail and they popping up. I see you came back from that meditation with General Zod shirt on. That was a good catch.
I don't even know who General Zod is.
That's homie from Superman 2. Remember, it was in the glass like.
Nah, this is
in his face.
Yeah, that's what's up. But this is stellar attire. You know what I'm saying? Because these are very cosmic times. I don't want to get too deep with the people because it is a Scorpion full moon and that energy is present. But these are some very intense times to go within. These are some
for sure. You see, I got the smile Tawi on. You know what I mean? You see, I'm representing the red and the blue. I'm bringing both of the energies together. You see, I'm dealing with the balance. On this moon is about that. Let me do this though, because we're gonna build. I want to read about because there may be family in the audience that doesn't know what today is, and they're completely lost as to the conversation that we're having about a moon. They're like, "What the hell are these brothers talking about?"
Right.
So let me share the page real quick. Let me take the family to some information about tonight's moon, because the power is in the now, family. We're gonna give you all of this information, but we want to get out of your way because the power of tonight, you cannot miss tonight. All right. I'm glad that y'all are here on the live and then you caught us so you could receive this information, but we don't want to miss the opportunity of the window that's open to begin to do a little bit of some inner work, maybe some outer work, but let me read this. Let me break this down. You know what I'm saying? if I have my hand in helping somebody with a breakthrough during a time, huh?
I said, let's get to it. Because that's definitely what this energy is about.
All right, let me break it down. While the full flower moon in Scorpio on Thursday is so important, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is the last supermoon of 2020 for starters. So this is the last supermoon, right? The last time to do super things underneath this supermoon, y'all. Okay, so There's a full moon coming on Thursday, May 7th, and it's going to be one to behold. According to the Old Farmer's Almanac, the Algonquins called this full moon the full flower moon because it comes at the beginning of spring, just when the flowers start to blossom, right? It looks beautiful outside. Full moons are moments of manifestation and culmination, and there are a few reasons why this one is particularly important. Here's more about the full flower moon, plus how to spend it. The full flower moon is a super moon. Yeah, that's right. Da, 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 da. The full moon is in Scorpio. Here's what that means. Anyone who spent time with a Scorpio can attest that this sign is best summed up in one word: intense. As a Scorpio myself, I can confirm that all of the rumors are true. The majority of us are often highly emotional, passionate, and loyal. We can also be suspicious and have a deep need for control. Whew. This particular moon will amplify these traits and bring up issues that live in the shadows. It will also likely affect Scorpios more than others. But remember that each and every one of us is also much more than just our sun sign. In fact, everyone has all 12 signs in their birth chart. So even if your sun isn't in Scorpio, you can still be affected. During this full moon in Scorpio, it's likely that matters you've been avoiding will come to a climax, and you might too. For example, if you and your stay at home partner have been avoiding talking about something, prepare yourself to finally address what's been simmering beneath the surface. Scorpio's strength comes from the sign superpower, rebirth. Each zodiac sign has a corresponding tarot card. Scorpio's is the death card, which is highly misunderstood and not to be taken literally. It refers to the moment in which one allows themselves to rise from the ashes like a phoenix, to be reborn into an even more powerful form, right? Destroy, rebuild. Destroy, rebuild. Don't you teach that in fitness blue pill?
Absolutely.
How to use the full flower moon to your advantage. Here's the solutions, y'all. Here's the application. Right now, as we go through a collective trauma, this full moon offers a chance to reflect and meditate on some personal demons you wish to shed. Set some intentions and think about how you can grow and heal. While that may sound intimidating, it can mean anything from planning to reach out to someone you like to make amends with, to setting aside more time each day to cuddle with your pet, if that helps your mental health. Don't feel pressure to do anything other than honor yourself and think about what will make you feel your best. This is a time to process and open the door for healing. Scorpios are also known for their sexuality, and once again, all the rumors are true. However, that doesn't necessarily mean they want no strings attached sex. And especially right now, people are seeking emotional intimacy along with the physical, whether it's through masturbating, virtual sex, or getting it on with your stay at home partner. This full moon in Scorpio is a night to get it on. However, keep in mind that it is unlikely that the sex will be shallow, even within casual relationships. Be prepared for deep connections. For a full moon in Scorpio ritual, light a candle and write down all of the fears that you wish to release. When you're finished, rip it up into little pieces and throw it away. Then make a list of everything that you love about yourself. Keep that list. Finally, go have an orgasm or even practice sex magic. To make your orgasm a magical one, simply visualize what you wish to manifest for yourself right now. Use my OnlyFans page to come and tap in. No, so yeah, family. I think I don't know what else you need to hear. Like this one is pretty incredible. intense. Okay. I want to be personal. I want to share a personal feeling with everybody. And I shared it with Blue Pill, and he was kind of like, nigga, what? This moon is so intense. I got some shrooms right now on me. Okay. If anybody from law enforcement is listening, I have portobello mushrooms. Okay. And I'm like, I'm kind of scared to go in, bro. I'm intimidated. I'm not scared, but I know this. I know whatever. I know that this one is going to be intense, and I could already feel it. But I gotta go. You understand? It's almost like you in the cockpit of the plane and it's going down, and you're gonna have to jump eventually. So, like, I can't not do it. Today it's a Scorpio moon, so it's time to go upstairs. So when it's time to face your demons, you just have to be prepared. Now, tonight's show is going to be dealing with facing some demons because of the power of the moon. And we just broke down the blueprint, or we just basically broke down the DNA of tonight, right? This is about going within. This is about being honest. This is about peering into a place. This is about death, right? But this is also about rebirth. Now, there is no coincidence whatsoever, cosmically speaking. This is not a conspiracy. I do not deal in the realm of conspiracy theorists. I would feel offended if you were to refer to me as one, because I know that the federal penitentiary is filled up with people who were majorly committed for they were indicted on conspiracy. You know, the majority of inmates in the federal penitentiary system are there for conspiracy. So I don't play with conspiracy theorists. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a scholar. And there's no conspiracy that the case about the brother who got killed in Georgia feels eerily similar to something that we've seen before. There's no coincidence that the people who are sitting back watching what is going on, because they gave you two back-to-back triggers. Remember, we're dealing with triggers. We as a people are triggered by incidents that we are collectively tied to. So the power of the power of chaos magic, or the power of the rituals, the fact that these people do bloodletting rituals, they do shocking or rituals, they do rituals that are dealing with lynchings. And these lynchings deal with the kind of programming. And that programming is a programming that's embedded in our subconsciousness that can be triggered at times. So we've all been collectively triggered under this moon. Okay. And it's going to take us back to a time that we probably don't realize that we're being triggered from. But I'm going to take us back to that time. So let me go ahead and share this screen, and let's get into this information, because I don't want nobody wilding out on this moon and losing it. I don't want nobody going out like the young brother. You see the energy of the young brother in the car? That's that moon right there. Right? Rest in peace, rising power to the brother. That's the moon right there. I'm not finna get caught. I'm not going back to jail. Them niggas gonna have to catch me. Right? And then them doing what? They ran down on that brother and shot him in cold blood, and then had some real crazy stuff to say. I don't think that they knew that they were on live, you know? And they were so nonchalant. They were so casual about it. They were so matter-of-factly standing over a dead corpse, a dead body of that young brother who had a lot of life in his eyes when you looked at him, you know. Y'all could see the screen, right?
Yeah.
All right. Once again, shout out to Griff, shout out to Nova. You'll see me on one of their shows coming up. We'll be on some lives. We'll be doing some promoting. All right. Fear of a Black Planet 2020. All right. Go to the Eventbrite and go ahead and get your ticket. All right. The tickets are $44 because we are worth that. All right. We got each three of us have children and mouths that we feed. So, you know, thank you for your support in advance. We will also be releasing a capsule, a merch capsule. So for those who want to be VIP ticket holders, you're going to have there's a merch capsule that's coming with the ticket. So for my collectors that are out there, those who understand the value of what we're doing, you understand you can hear my language, you know what I'm talking about. The clothing brand Supreme did a collaboration with Fear of a Black Planet, and the Goose, the bomber, was selling for $1,300. The shirts are selling for about $300 to $400. So what Supreme did is add value to what the brand of Fear of a Black Planet, and what we're going to do is add more value to the brand, the Fear of a Black Planet, because unlike the clothing brand Supreme, we're going to add information as well to carry on the tradition of what Dr. Francis Cress Welsing came along and brought forward with, you know, that inspired Public Enemy to come forward with Fear of a Black Planet. So the best way that we could add on is by teaching. Now, if anybody was paying attention to the news over the week, you saw what took place with they call the stay-at-home protests, right? The stay-at-home protests. In my humble opinion, that was one of the most propagandized names that they can call what was taking place. What was taking place was an armed insurrection at the state capitol building by the Michigan militia. Now, the Michigan militia, unbeknownst to the quote-unquote public, because it was not made public by the mainstream media, because they're in collusion and they're all in bed with each other, they conveniently left out the fact that the Michigan militia is the fourth largest standing army in the world. Okay? They left that out. They just said, oh, these people were protesting the fact that they couldn't plant seeds in their garden. These people were protesting the fact that they couldn't get on with a good old American life and make America great again. But what they did not mention was the fact that the militia in Michigan is the head of the United States militia, and they are the top militias. This militia is considered to be the fourth largest army in the world. Look at this. What is the largest standing army in the world? It is the American hunters. The largest standing army in the world are American hunters, 12,700,000 of them, armed U.S. men and women. People say if something were to happen in America, that the United States police or the military wouldn't carry out anything. I would agree. I would be like, yeah, they wouldn't. Guess who would carry it out? The people that would carry it out would be the quote unquote hunters, the militias in Americas. The militias in the Americas are the largest standing army in the world. They are the ones. Remember the TV show Watchmen, right? The HBO series Watchmen. Remember the 7th Cavalry? They were highlighting the Cyclops. They were highlighting the 7th Cavalry who attacked the police on what they call the White Night. It was a day and time called a White Night, where they basically came from out of the hiding, the invisible empire, and they swooped down and they attacked the police. Henceforth, while everybody was wearing a mask in the TV series Watchmen, which later on, this was one of the most watched HBO series, and later on, about a few months later, everybody in the world was wearing masks. Okay, so the police were forced to wear masks because of the 7th Cavalry, who basically flipped the script and had a coup d'etat and killed all of the police, right? So when you see the Michigan militia marching on the state capitol, they were shouting in the faces, right, of the quote-unquote elected officials and the police officers. This is a stay-at-home. This is supposed to be a coronavirus. Do you know if you were to yell in the face of an officer and you had tuberculosis, you would be charged with a crime? So you don't know if somebody has the coronavirus. If they're yelling in your face, then they could be potentially threatening your safety. If you're a policy officer or a safety officer, you can take it in your own quote unquote, you could take it upon yourself to arrest that person. Do you know that one person got arrested at that rally, and they had armed European men and women inside of the state building, and only one person got arrested because it was protester on protester violence. Okay, so the Japanese said that you cannot invade the mainland of the United States. He said there will be a rifle behind every blade of grass. Americans buy enough guns in 3 months to arm both the Russia and Chinese standing armies. Okay. So all of these European men who go out and kill black bears, brown wolves, brown raccoons, brown squirrels, brown birds, green lizards, right? Brown raccoons, right? Brown pandas, brown deers, brown bisons, browner buffaloes, right? These people who go out religiously around America and slaughter unabashed. They slaughtered untested. They slaughtered all of these melanated animals. I believe it was Elihu Pleasant Bay in a book called The Exhument of Noble Drew Ali. He had a segment on Masons, and he spoke about the European, the gamers, the game hunters, and the fact that the game hunters would put lions, heads of bears on their walls, and heads of reindeers and whatnot, heads of bison. These are game trophies, but these game trophies are heads. These are totems. So these are heads of Africans. These are the heads of your kings. These are the heads of Indian kings, tribal kings. Sachems are what they call them. Sachems. So whenever you go to a European's house and you're stepping on a bear rug, it's a potential. You're stepping on a lion. They go over to the continent. You're stepping on a rhino rug. You're stepping on your ancestors. That's what they do. Going back to what's my dude? What was that? Buffalo Bill and
Silence of the Lambs.
Yes, and Silence of the Lambs. You know, where he had lampshades made out of human skin and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, this is a collective thing that they have. They have an underground black market where they're trading human skin lamps. They're trading exotic animals. They're trading all of these rhino horns and stuff like that. Lion's claws, rhino testicles and shit. You know, this is what they do. So the symbology of what they have in their lodges, the symbology of what these hunters collect, and what they have when you go into gun stores and they have all of these stuffed animals, all of these melanated stuffed animals hanging up and all of this stuff. This is something that speaks to the subconscious of the bloodletting, the bloodthirst, the bloodthirstiness of the Germanic or the Germans. These are the Germanic tribes, the Nordics, the Vikings, right? The TV show American Gods showed you the Viking Nordic gods and whatnot, how they came over here and brought their Nordic gods. And they brought their Nordic ways, their Viking ways. They brought their Germanic ways. When the Nazis came over, Operation Paperclip, there is a constant killing. There is a constant slaughtering. There is an ongoing slaughtering, a nonstop cycle of heinous slaughtering and murdering of animals every single second. Okay? Every single second. I'm talking about heinous. If it's not monkeys in the lab that they're torturing, if it's not monkeys at the goddamn Fenty when they trying out Kylie fucking makeup, if it's not them torturing pandas and rats, if it's not them killing animals in the forest, in the jungles, if it's not Joe Exotic and fucking Carol Baskin doing what they do to the cats, you know what I mean? Then it's over. It's them and Tyson's chicken running a whole bunch of baby chickens through a goddamn grinder.
Whoa.
And then when you do the research, because they're putting out the numbers on the slaughterhouses, because they closed the greenhouses and they left the slaughterhouses open. Now they're opening up the greenhouses and they're closing the slaughterhouses. I'm telling you, something is taking place cosmically. Something is going on spiritually. This is you're witnessing the proverbial swinging of a pendulum in real time. You're standing in the midst of it. It is a Kairos moment. If you go and look up Kairos moment, this is a Kairos moment. This is a Chronos moment underneath Saturn and Pluto. This is not by coincidence. This has everything to do with the precession of the equinox and the signs of the times. And this is as above, so below. No one is a victim here. There's no victims. This is like Clash of the Titans when they were playing chess. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
So your ancestors, the pantheon of ancestors, play a part in everyone that's running this thing. But we're dealing with a standing army. This standing army, now I gotta show you this because I didn't put it in the quote unquote presentation. No, I don't want to stop it. You could Google this. President Trump put out a tweet that said liberate Michigan. When they were in the Capitol building, the president of the United States of America put a tweet out. This is on everything. And he said, liberate Michigan. And then he put another tweet out and said, these are some good men. Treat them good. Don't give them a problem. And let them go outside, Governor. So Governor Whitlock, I think it's in Michigan, right? They didn't protest Flint. They had nothing to say about Flint. You know, even black people in Detroit who are dying of coronavirus, they didn't even know about what was going on in the Capitol. They're not processing what just took place. They're not processing what's going on underneath their nose whilst they're being misdiagnosed in Detroit, whilst they're being quote unquote, a lot of the seniors and whatnot. Because I spoke to a brother from Detroit. He was like, nigga, ain't nothing going on in Detroit. I don't hear no ambulance. Places are empty. Where I was at, I'm in an area where they have a tent outside of a hospital that's supposed to be a COVID testing tent that they supposedly no. There's nobody in the tent ever. What the city where I was at went from being a no man's land to now people is like just crawling out from under the cracks and whatnot. But prior to that, it was a no man's land, and wasn't like people was out getting tested. They just was not out. Nobody was out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I raised an alarm when I was in Harlem. I raised the alarm before I left Harlem. I said, family, I did a video. I said, family, something is going on in Harlem because the Europeans left. Now, either they know something and they left unannounced. They left under the guys at night because you didn't see them running out of Harlem. You didn't see the exodus of Europeans out of New York. They left though. And I raised that alarm. I said, I just want y'all to know they not here. I'm driving through neighborhoods when they had the lockdown and I'm driving through neighborhoods and at night when people are in their house, the lights are on. Like in those big project buildings, all of the lights on the gentrified blocks is off. Nobody was home. They left New York. And then about a month after that, all of the people in New Yorkers start dying. I'm not a month, like maybe 2 or 3 weeks after that. Then New York becomes the epicenter of the whole thing. So I've always said that a lot of the gentrifiers are military, not just military. They are biochemists. They're intelligence, but they're dealing with a whole level of war. They're dealing with the quiet weapons. They don't look like army. They don't look like they're not coming in like Rambo and whatnot. They're very inconspicuous.
Mm-hmm.
But they're intelligence gatherers. They're in the bars they gather intelligence at the bars. That's why they set up these bars and they get you drunk. Hey, what's that guy over there? Call Red Pill. Tell me about him. Barquisha, while I get you this Long Island iced tea, Queen. You know what I mean? And then she starts spilling the beans. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I'm gonna ride the boat with you, and you're gonna tell me about your friends, okay? You know what I mean? And that's what they do. They start spilling the beans, right? They come on, them Europeans is taking women up in their little ivory towers in gentrified neighborhoods, and they refurbish shacks, and they're extracting information from them. That's a fact. They know, and remember, they buy all of the drugs, so they know who the drug. The minute they come in your neighborhood, they know who got they got the brown, the white, the green, because they buy everything. They're the best customers. That's why the drug dealers, that's why the knuckle draggers, they want the gentrifiers. They welcome the gentrifiers. They love Becky and Sean and Tom and them because they're good for business. Okay? They're good for business. But let me continue. So American firearm owners, the largest army in the world. And that does not include black folk. All right, Mr. Second Amendment, that's not you that they're talking about. Even if you niggas got hammers and whatnot. For the family on the gram, the time is running out. So come over to YouTube, Know the Ledge Media. All right. And American fire owners, that's not black folk. Now, while we see the thing go down in Michigan, then there was another one somewhere else. There's all kind of shit going on with Europeans not showing, I don't call it white privilege because they don't have privilege. You know what I'm talking about? It's not a privilege. You know, it's white fragility. You know, that's all that is. That's them basically in collusion with each other, you know, just doing dumb shit. So here you have armed, they had a standoff at a bar in Texas, right? They brought the SWAT out. These Europeans had rifles and handguns. They had a standoff because they wanted the Texas bar to open up. They're like, yo, it's our God-given right to drink moonshine and whatnot. Now look at the mugshots of the Europeans that they arrested. Everybody's smiling. There's no one has a lump on them. They didn't get accosted. You know what I mean? Everyone, you know, they got the lemon tree haircuts. All of their shit is in place. You know, not one hair is messed up on their head. Okay. But when you fast forward to New York and you see what they're in Brooklyn doing, they beat a man, the officer, there's Dominican, right? Somebody pointed this out to me. Of the Dominican, Puerto Rican, and young black officers are leading the charge on the anti-nigger campaign, right? They are going super hard because I said it before earlier in the year. This is dealing with, and this is dealing with the perceived threat. Okay, this is dealing with the perceived threat. The perceived threat is black men, or what they call cis hetero black men and their minions. Okay, whether it's the women is running around with them or their little picnics and whatnot. But there is a soft war going on against that prototype or that archetype. Okay, so here it is. They got these people right here doing what they do, but in New York, they're beating black men up for just being together. They're stopping people in the streets and accosting them. They're assaulting young men and stomping them out. I'm talking about violently. In the subway station, they were pulling people off of buses. They were accosting people and they smacked this dude out of his slippers or his sneakers, bro. An open hand smack. The police smacked him with an open hand. You know how disrespectful that is? He couldn't even close his hand to hit him. He just smacked him. And he came out of his sneakers. And then they beat the person up who was filming it. So they are preparing. They're exasperating the, you know, they're exasperating the fam. You know what I mean? They're working on people's nerves. They know people have a lot of pent up emotions and whatnot. And what this is going to translate to is a lot of killings in New York City over the summer between people who look like each other, because they will not take it out on anybody else but people who look like them, because even the police who's popping off right now look just like them. This is third generation hip hop. These new police in New York City, they came up drinking the same tap water as us. They listen to the same music, and they have a hatred. They have a resentment for the generation. Okay, they have a resentment because they know They see the devaluing of the culture, and they know that they know people really don't value themselves. There's been a humongous drop in stocks in quote unquote black people over the past few years. One of the reasons why the stocks were dropped, and one of the reasons why the stocks have fallen so low on a global scale, dealing with integrity, respect, and just the fact that people are not afraid of you anymore because you don't have the level of intensity or the level of intimidation that you did. One of the main reasons, or one of the main cases that brought all of that to light was the Trayvon Martin saga. Okay, now this case that we're seeing right now, right? I'm going to get into this case in a minute, but I want to bring up this situation, right? I wanted to play this video. Matter of fact, let me go and play this video. Let me pull it up on YouTube, the breakdown. I want y'all to listen to this case, and then we're going to talk about how this case is the exact case or a repeat of the quote unquote the Trayvon Martin, the Trayvon Martin ritual. Okay, because that's exactly what it was. It was a ritual. All right, give me 1 second. Let me pull this up. He was with the mother, Wanda Cooper. All right, yeah, I'm gonna play this video. Hold on. I gotta share that with the fam. Give me 1 minute. Let me share this video.
You know, I wanted to start our conversation.
Can you see the video, Blue?
You first.
No.
Telling me more about him.
All right, give me 1 second. I need y'all to see her face. I need y'all to see his mother, strong sister.
Share screen.
Yeah, I'm doing that right now.
Because I've worked with so many families across the country who've lost their loved ones to some type of violence. And there's something weird that happens where, for most of the world, that moment of violence is their first introduction to your loved one. But when you think of him, you don't just think of this one horrible moment. You have 25 years of memories. And I wanted just for you to introduce Ahmaud to me and to those of us who see this so that we can understand him in the moment bigger than that one Sunday afternoon.
Ahmaud was my baby boy. I had him on Mother's Day back in 1994.
Oh, wow.
On Mother's Day, yeah. And Ahmaud was the baby. He has an older sister and an older brother. But Ahmaud was his brother and sister's keeper. He loved his family. And I know he loved his mama. He had the most humble spirit. He liked sports. He loved LeBron James. He loved LeBron. He loved Kobe. He loved football. But then the last, I would say, since he's been an adult, I think you hear me say thank you all the time because those were his words. If you did anything for Ahmaud, it was always thank you.
He was just a gracious guy.
Yes, he was. And if he left the room, or if I leave home, he's leaving the house, it's always I love you. Those are his words. And he was his spirit was just so humble, and he just didn't deserve to go like he went.
You know, the first person who reached out to me, I actually had all the way back in February. I had a guy from the NFL who reached out to me, and I think Ahmad was such a standout athlete that several guys that he played with and played against played Division I football and actually and went to the pros. And I had several guys reach out to me and say, I knew this guy, I love this guy. And sports and fitness, I know, were a huge part of his life. Can you speak some about even his young life, even as a boy, and what sports and athletics meant to him?
Yeah, sure. I got Ahmad in the football when it was like flag football.
Oh yeah.
He was like 5 or 6, and he stayed in football until he came out of high school. Since this happened, I had his little league coach to reach out and say that he remembers Ahmad, and I mean, Ahmad was just a good boy. He loved football, and even after he got to be an adult, I had a gym set out in the garage. He would go out there and hit those weights like he was finna go off to the NFL.
Yeah, I saw several people say, friends and family and others say that they knew he always tried to keep fit, and it's weird to me in a way that we even have to talk about that. Because it's just normal. He's a 25-year-old young man who was in sports his whole life. But can you talk about just his commitment to fitness? And you said he would, go out to the garage and hit the weights, but I know he would run and stuff as well.
Yeah, but at the thing, Mr. King, if it wasn't drenching rain, Ahmad ran. Yeah. Ahmad ran every day. It would rain, if it was hot. Like I was thinking that maybe it was good that he's not gonna be in the summer heat running, because he ran every day. Yeah. He ran every day, and everybody from the neighborhood knew that this kid ran every day.
Right. I've talked to several people who said he was a runner. That like he literally was out running all the time. On the day that Ahmad was killed, when did you first learn that something had happened?
I received a call from a investigator, Larry, from the Glenn County Police Department, who identified me as being his mom, and he told me he was at my front door.
On that Sunday? On
that Sunday, about 6:30. And he told me that Ahmad was involved in a burglary, and there was a confrontation with the homeowner. It was a fight over the gun, and unfortunately, Ahmad was killed.
You knew in that moment that something was, that's all right. You knew in that moment that something was wrong. That not only had he been killed, but that they had bad information.
Yes, because for one thing, Mr. King, nobody burglarizes anything. Even him not being a burglar, he knew better not to rob someone at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a sunny Sunday afternoon.
Right. It was just a normal day in the middle of the day.
Yeah. Right. So I knew, but I didn't question it really, because I got the information from, a part of the authority here in Glenn County, and I thought the information that they were giving me were true. I had no reason to question it.
And heck, in that moment, you're mainly thinking about Ahmad. You're not thinking about any of the details of the case.
Exactly.
When was it that you began to learn about who was involved? Gregory McMichael and Travis McMichael. When did you learn that?
The Friday. It happened on a Sunday, and the newspaper article came out that following Friday. An article came out as well on that Tuesday. I don't have the exact dates, I should, but saying that there was a conflict of interest and the case would be transferred to another county because the local DAs couldn't handle the case here.
Because Gregory McMichael had worked for the district attorney's office for almost 30 years.
Yes, sir.
Right.
And it would be transferred. So that was that Tuesday. But in the midst of this, me and my family is trying to do the the funeral, so we couldn't really put a whole lot of time in it. But my sister said she read an article in the paper that the guy who was involved was indeed a retired cop, and the wording of the article said that Ahmaud was actually shot in the street.
Right.
So then I started reflecting back on the conversation that we had initially, where he told me that Ahmaud was in a burglary and he was confronted by the homeowner. But I learned that he was actually shot in the street, and the house that he's supposed to have burglarized was empty. Mr. King, that house didn't have windows or doors at the time. It just was a newly constructed home.
A home that was under construction, and that Gregory and Travis McMichael, they don't own that home, and they have nothing to do with that house.
Yes.
And so the first story that came out was that somebody, in the name of protecting themselves, shot and killed Ahmaud, and it turns out those men had nothing to do with that home.
Exactly. So I began to just sit back, and we had the services that Saturday, but that Tuesday, the next week, I learned that the case had been transferred to another DA, which was Mr. Barnhill. So I reached out. I told him that I had a lot of questions, because the stories that I was told initially and the story that I read in the news article, it was very completely information.
He was the third DA, is that right? That it was transferred out of York County then to another county.
Yes. And he told me that he had it. No, I'm gonna back up. I talked to his secretary. His secretary said that she wasn't aware that they had received a case from Glenn County. And I said, well, it has to be a case there, because I have quotations from your DA stating that he has received it. So she placed me back on hold again, and he was on the line. Very, very nonchalantly, he told me that he had the case. The case was not even open, because he couldn't open it up until he received all the documents, which include the toxicology report and also the autopsy report. I shared my information with them, and then my contact information, told him I would be the primary contact. And he told me that Ahmaud was shot 2 times with a shotgun. And that's all really, he said that's really all I can tell you at this time.
Was it after the funeral that it gave you the emotional space to start really digging into the actual injustice and case of it?
Yes. I said, because I'm spending a whole lot of time just sitting thinking that this wasn't done right, he was killed, and he was killed in the street after he was chased down and cut off by 2 vehicles, and nobody went to jail.
Right.
Nobody went to jail behind it. They were able to go home, and my baby was placed in a body bag. That's not fair.
Now that many people are covering the story of what happened, and now that so many people are wanting to support you and support the family in this fight for justice, what is it that you're wanting to see happen?
All hands responsible for the death of my baby boy to be arrested. I mean, they did a crime, regardless whether they were law enforcement or whoever. They committed the crime. They need to do what normal citizens do when you break the crime and you pay the cost of breaking the crime.
Right, and these men, just to be clear, these men weren't law enforcement officers.
No.
Whether Mr. McMichael used to be or was retired or whatever, being a retired police officer or investigator didn't give him any right to do what he did. Like, he was not a current law enforcement officer. I think he seemed to think he was acting as one.
Yes.
But he certainly wasn't.
Yeah. I read an article that he said that they were doing a citizen's arrest.
All right. Well, I'm not gonna play the whole thing. Yeah, I get to see the brother's mother, and you know, you get to hear her side of the story as to what happened, what she was told, what happened. And I mean, I have some good news to come along with this story that the two Europeans, the son and the father, have been charged with murder. Okay. They've been arrested as of today. They were arrested by the GBI, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, which is Georgia's FBI or Georgia's version of the FBI, I guess. And they're in jail. They're in quote unquote, what was that, Glenn County?
Yeah, I guess.
So yeah, they're locked up. I don't know if there's bail on them or not, but they're locked up.
Yeah. It's 1 o'clock on my side. I got a breeze.
Oh,
I gotta
okay.
make sure. Yeah.
Now I feel you. Did you want to add anything before you left?
I mean, my translation, with this particular moon, there's a lot of aspects that deal directly with Scorpio, but the energy that has coalesced around this particular moon is dealing with fear of death, right? And what the incapacitation of fear does to the body, right? Because we sitting here, we talking about immunity, talking about the body, we talking about the electric body, right? Fear incapacitates that electric body. You can't shoot those synapses. You can't be your soulless self. You can't be a black god and be fearful. You know what I'm saying? And you can't even consider yourself to be the fullness, the triple blackness of what blackness is if you're scared of death, because death and blackness is synonymous. And at one time you was very spooky on this planet because you didn't fear death. You know what I'm saying? And your black was respected for what it metaphysically, metaphorically, and scientifically connects to, right? And that was the occult aspects of who and what you represented. But you don't have that no more. You scared of the dark. And you scared of the light. And where does that leave you? Right? In a very undifferentiated middle place, and it's like the future of it is very unclear how this shit is gonna end up, because fortune favors the bold, you know what I'm saying? And our people don't look bold right now. So how they gonna go for the fortune? How they gonna be the victors of this victory lap that of what 2020 entails, and what 2012, the shadow of what 2012 reflects on, which is the illusion, right? You can't keep telling me that we live in a post-racial world and the differences between you and your natural adversary is all illusionary, because we all one people and we light sentient beings. It's like, my nigga, you're not even fully expressing, if you really truly believe that, you dig what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Then your light would be magnified a little bit brighter, because you would know how to go and do that internal work that's needed, at least for you to get around fear. And your shit will look a lot different. But niggas are scared. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now, because they hate the idea of themselves, they will exterminate something in someone that looks like them without a thought.
That's a
But they
fact.
can't translate that, right? They can't translate it. They can't push it past the heart because the heart chakra is shut down by fear. So they can't get it past those higher chakras. It would be like, oh, for minds, sacrifices got to be made.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have that. So we can't even have these conversations in the open. And even that energy of us not being to have that conversation in the open, it does something to you. It does something to you. You know what I'm saying?
It
You
does.
damage your energy at a time when you're supposed to be primal, and people are every bit domesticated. That's why that Tiger King shit translated so well. People is every bit domesticated, and you're supposed to be. If this is a reset, right? Yeah, man's supposed to be going to the higher tonality of himself, but he can't do that being pussy. You can't rise on your knees. There's a difference,
Yo,
right? You niggas have capitulated. Hold on. This shit is embarrassing at this point, B. Right? That people would make so much of a connection and a correlation to this planet and say that this planet is graduating and this planet is forcefully ascending. How does that shit translate in the people on the planet that represent the mud? Because they on melanated heads all around the world right now.
oh, they
This is not
popping off all around the world.
this is not an isolated incident, right?
This is global warming.
This is not an isolated incident. They washing,
Global
they
cooling.
washing, rinsing all around the world, right? So fear of death, Scorpio, Pluto, transformation. Stop telling me the 2020 is about transformation and niggas are scared of change. Something has to change. That's all I'm saying. And I'm gonna leave it at that. Because, you know, Scorpio's also deep waters. This is personal. Your transformation should be personal, family. I don't need to know about it. You need to deal with it though. You understand what I'm talking about? And I have to deal with mine. So I can't tell you what to do with yours. You got to figure that shit out.
Mm-hmm. That's a
But you
fact.
can't ignore it. Can't ignore it. Can't be ignored any much longer. You know what I mean? You owe it to yourself not to be pussy right now. How about that?
I'm gonna let you talk to them for like 1 minute. Let me go get this plug for the computer.
Yeah.
You mind?
So you have to find out what your fear is, and you got to get to it. You got to find a way to approach it. If your thing is just dealing with a particular energy vector of, you know, peace and centering yourself, then you gotta find your breathing. You gotta find your meditation. You gotta find whatever's gonna knock you up to the next level with this intense energy of transformation at this particular time. We all could stand to, you know, put something down and pick something up, right? So that's metaphorically letting something die. Death is about transformation. And the fact that we are not confident in our knowledge of that, right? We're still rolling the dice, right? Because religion has crippled people's minds to such a degree that you're scared of the transformation of the inevitable, as Thanos would say. You can't even get around it, right? You're not set up for failure in this universe, okay? It's going to be a process, but it won't be as painful as you making it out to be. And shout out to Ra Omar. He was on Brother Rich's the other night. And he said that we understood that our transformative process, right, that coincides with our ascension protocol, which means you lived your entire life in these antiquated ancient societies that we love revering and talking so much about. And if you are who you've always been, right, and you are the culmination of all of the ancestors that walk with you inside of your blood, then those ancient rites entailed an ascension protocol, Those people came here to live their lives just to die specifically, right? To make it back to the place from whence they came, to not come back again, but to be consecrated on a cosmic canopy, right? As a star, as a sun, right? As a light being, sentient entity that burns so bright, you got a story to tell. But religion will have you now fearful of the fire, right? Where in ancient times, that's exactly what you want to do. You will want to burn forever, right? As a sun. But now they come and they switch that up and they got you fearful, and the only correlation or connection that you can make is to the hellfires, right? So you don't want to burn. You're scared of fire, you're scared of the dark, you're scared of death, you're scared of yourself, you're scared of your powers, you're scared of heights, you're scared of water. Right? What is the universe going to do with you? You're scared of mosquitoes, you're scared of roaches, you're scared of bees. So
you scared of hornets?
you
scared of wait? Are you scared of hornets? Ha ha! You forgot that.
Hornets is joints is different, and you know, watch it's just gonna be like, oh, the hornets is ravishing Negro population. I just see this.
Show up in Chicago.
They just assault targets, man, for everything. Like, you gotta harden and toughen up your shell, and that aspect of you has been compromised so many different ways, through religion, through your food. You know what I'm saying? The fact that they have totally estrogenized the culture in society. It's in the air, something in the water. You feel me? Where is men gonna get these concepts of being men again from? This manhood principle. When is it going to kick in? How are we gonna overcome fear? It's a blockage, family. It's stopping you from moving through that heart chakra. Because if you was truly illuminated in those upper chakras, you know what I mean? You'll be, I wouldn't say that you wouldn't have no fear. I would say that you will be actively working through it to break through it, like the threshold. You would be in the gym looking for, you know, that pleasure pain principle. You go into the pain to get through it, right? You don't got no fear. You about to put pain on your body purposely to grow from it. And that's this life mission. Niggas don't want to put in no pain. They just want to be in pain. You don't want to put in no pain. You just want to be in pain, right? And you think that your adversary is going to let up on you, right? Because you talking about, you know, you screaming, uncle, you can't take it no more. It's not what you come from. It's not what you come from, man. Rise ye, mighty nation, man. Find out what's mighty about yourselves, man, and dig into that. You feel me? Dig into that, man. Activate that. You know, nurture that. Women, find out what's necessary to activate that in these men and put fire under these niggas, man. Put fire under them. This shit is embarrassing. Fucking hillbillies. Right? How you gonna tackle the motherfucking evil geniuses amongst them if the lowest amongst them could show they ass like that?
That's a fact.
So, like I said, even if your thing is namaste and meditation, and you only want to deal with the internal struggle, do that. Form a meditation group, though, and imprint the galaxy with your intent. Have a conversation with the cosmos. Weaponize your fucking tears if that's the case. That's all I'm saying.
That's a
right?
fact.
You get it however you get it, right? Just get to getting. That's all I'm saying. Peace, love, and light.
All right, y'all get that man a round of applause, man. Get that man some.
All right, yeah, continue the good work. And that was some amazing information. I like how you put it together. Keep teaching.
No doubt. All right.
Peace.
Make sure y'all catch Blue Pill on Tough Talk Tuesdays. All right. And follow him on Blue Pillar 44 on all of the social medias. Tap in. Keep doing your good work too, young man. I see you out there.
Yeah, and you know, please don't be on here too long. Like, let them get into the bag of doing the research about what Scorpio is about. You know what I'm saying? And making sure that y'all meditate tonight, catch the energy of that moon,
Look,
impregnate the moon. Hold on, right? How do you deal with different moon cycles, right? The the new moon, which is the moon when you can't see it, that's when you actually are seeding. Just like if you was farming, you would put seeds into ground at this particular during the new moon, right? That's when you see the universe with your intent. The full moon is when it bursts and it births itself. That's when you become observant of the fullness and the manifestation of what your intents are. But you also utilize this day, right? A day like this with the fullness of the moon. And I'm going to tell you something, because I was out there looking at that moon. The moon is still going to be full tomorrow because it's not fully full yet. It's still like a sliver on the edge that's not fully in there yet. So this moon is going to be active over 3 days. You understand? For people who have been feeling it, you can identify that this moon has been active all week. Okay?
it has.
Right? This moon has been active all week. So now that the lens is on us, you write your fears down and you burn them. Right? That's the ritual for full moon. Full moon is when you put something down and pick something up. Right?
Mm.
New moons is when you put something in the ground that, you know, within a cycle of 14 days will manifest itself to something tangible that you can now pick up, right? And look at, you know, remember the fact that last full moon was April 7th on a Tuesday, 3 days after the full 4 meditation, and we saw the moon moonwalking, and it was bright as the sun. Why?
It was
Something
super bright.
in the people and their subconscious, especially you women, right? The feminine principle, you have the manifestation powers because you have the closest connection to the magnetic fields. All right. Based on the fact of you are directly tied into the feminine aspect of subconscious energy and the fact that you mince every month, right? And the iron that's in the blood of the mints gives you a stronger connection to the magnetic field. So you intuit, right? You pull out information, right? And also the universe responds to your lamenting a lot quicker. So
Mm-hmm.
take the passion of what you feel about the pain of watching our people die sensibly in the streets. Like this is Mississippi burning or something in the 60s, and it's supposed to be post-COVID, and you sold the whole country this idea about people was being more together, and this is a new America. It's the same old shit, and we cannot bring this into the remainder, the second half of 2020. It has to be nipped in the bud, right? And I don't have all of the answers about how to do that necessarily. But God damn it, it's incumbent upon the people who represent this collective consciousness to come up with some of these ideas or come to the table. Right? And we could either figure it out collectively or you could figure it out individually and act on it. Right? And act on it. So when you tie into that moon energy that's out there right now, right? Impregnate the universe with these thoughts, with these magnetic thoughts, overpower it, right? You have to, like, really, this is about proclaiming your domination. You're making proclamations to this universe. You're not asking for a goddamn thing. That time is over with. You have to proclaim. You have to make claims on this universe. You have to make stake for why you should be here, why you should still be here. And the fact that you are of service to this universe because they are enacting a terminus species program, showing the universe, look, these niggas is non-essential. They don't serve no purpose. They won't defend themselves. They won't defend their women. They won't defend their children. They won't defend their elders. They won't defend the invalid amongst them. They won't defend the weak. They don't have no fucking compassion, right? Get rid of these niggas. This is the virus to the planet. This is what they're attempting to do with you, and they utilize all of this word sorcery in the media to create a template mentally amongst the rest of the world that they like, oh, these niggas is disease carriers. They're fucking lazy. You know what I'm saying? They're the look, they lining you up, family.
Hold on.
Don't hit me with the cool right now, please.
The absence of compassion is evil. Evil is the absence of compassion. Compassion and evil could not exist at the same time. The removal of compassion is the introduction or the overtaking of evil. So as a people, we were recognized globally as being compassionate. We were known for our compassionateness. We are no longer considered to be compassionate.
Look, shout out to Ken, right? He dropped it. He said that melanated people was the first ones that made Christianity a real thing globally because they were the first ones to apply compassion to it, right? They were the first group of Christians on the planet that ever showed you what Christianity compassion looked like. No one had ever enacted that principle in Christianity and turned it from a dead letter religion to a living testament by showing Christian compassion. Melanated people in this country did that.
Facts.
Right? Where the fuck is the compassion at right now?
That's what was lost during the eras of the Benjamins, right? The crack war, the crack era.
It's the Benjamins. I have family in nursing homes, right? I already knew that the majority of the workers that worked in there look just like us, right? Melanated women, either from the South or the Caribbean. Okay?
Hold on.
They was there for a bag. They was there, you know what I'm saying, to get money to buy add-on and extensions and go to the club on the weekend. They ain't
Why no Jamaican women is doing videos?
Huh?
Why are no fucking Jamaican women doing the videos? There's no Jamaican RNs doing the videos. They got white women. I mean, it's a whole fam. There's a Netflix season of videos out right now of niggas blowing the COVID-19 off the lid. The last one is the pandemic episode 1. The shit with homie interviewing the lady. Everybody hit me in the inbox. You must watch this before this begins. I wish y'all give that much attention to shit that we do.
Nah, these you gotta be white people. Yo, I did not know that y'all niggas was unemployed and they was employing niggas in their DM. Like, yo, we're gonna send you a stimulus check. Just share this fucking link. Cause niggas was hitting me like it was executive producers. I thought they had credits in the film. I'm like, look at this shit. Son, I didn't know you was working with these niggas on the low. Yo, son. You know what I'm saying?
Niggas like Coney 2012, nigga. That shit was spreading like Coney.
Digital chain letter. That shit spread like COVID. Facts. Like, come on, son. Niggas started piecing me off with clips, then just sending me the whole shit. And I'm like, my shit that I be wanting to know about these digital chain letters, I'm like, does it come as one code where niggas like, you must see, or is niggas sitting there and writing them captions themselves?
Yo, the Facebook world, that shit is crazy. It gotta be Russian bots. It
gotta be
kind of trash to be on Facebook, bro. And my messenger, Messages all trash. Like every single story somebody sent me is trash.
Facts. But the timeline be lit.
The timeline lit, but this shit is Dollar General information. They turn information into Dollar General and ShopRite because everything that you must watch this now. You have to watch this immediately. But all of this is garbage.
It'd be 2-month-old information. It'd be like, you gotta watch this ASAP. Spread this.
And it'd be my knuckle dragon friends from Facebook always tagging me and shit. Why don't you niggas spend time being knuckle draggers? Stay in your fucking lane, bro. This is not for you. Niggas are sending me Dr. Fauci videos. Talk about, you must watch this. Nigga, don't try to be smart now, bro. Just stay in your fucking lane. Stay as a knuckle dragger. Stay on the monkey bars and let us do what we do over here. Cause y'all don't know what y'all doing. Niggas is running around spreading David Icke. That's how I know y'all don't know what the fuck is going on. You're running around spray, and I'm not saying that David
Icke arrived. Icke arrived. Don't do that. Ike's here.
I'm not saying that he's not arrived. I'm not saying there's something wrong with Icke. I'm saying we wrote Icke off a few years ago and we brought him back, but they spreading Icke like he's new. Niggas is like, yo, I just found out about David Icke.
It's new to them, and you gotta, again, you have to
compassion. I'm being compassionate.
You gotta be compassionate for people who are just coming in and they are just getting this information. And
fam, I'm a homeroom teacher. You don't have to tell me about being compassionate for niggas coming in. I meet the freshmen at the fuck. I'm in the yard with these niggas. I'm a homeroom teacher. Okay. I teach niggas from the minute they wake up until they ready to graduate. I'm red pill. So I have to have compassion. You know what I mean? You know.
Yeah. But I don't want to take your shit over, B. I appreciate
it. You don't gotta worry about that, my brother.
Yeah.
I'm finished going to get the shape up and then take that cape off and then have your real shirt on. Nigga. Go put the lampshade back on, the fragile. Remember Christmas Story, the fragile lamp? Go give fragile his lampshade back, brother. Yo, General Zod, I'm gonna see you, bro.
Oh shit. All right.
For real though.
For real, what?
Yeah, we'll tap in. We'll get up. All right, I'm gonna finish this show because I need the family, and they need to go get busy. So I'm not gonna be holding them up for
that's right.
Yeah, they got work to do.
Allow them to get it in.
Yeah.
All right.
Blue, you done downloaded them with enough information to get them right. Let me finish these slides and I'm gonna let y'all go. You feel me? I'm gonna let y'all go as soon as we get this information out. So going back to what we were saying about what we're seeing right now and the importance about what we're seeing, and why is that being ignored by the media? Why are they glossing over the fact that the quote unquote Michigan militia, every state has a militia. The head of the state militias is the Michigan militia. The Michigan militia is the top of the militias. So if the Michigan militia marches, that means that the other militias are being put on notice that there is something about to go down. Now, when the Michigan militia marches, they utilize social media to put the word out. Now, other white supremacists or other white, quote unquote, or white fragilicists or these, quote unquote, race soldiers and these lone wolf gunmen and these other, quote unquote, purgers, they are linking up. It's almost like when Negroes have the Super Bowl and everybody knows, nigga, we all gotta link up because it's nigga activities. So when they're doing these quote unquote march, when they're doing these protests, these are armed protests. They are armed to the teeth. They are rushing, they are taking over Capitol buildings, or quote unquote they're going to the capital of the state. They did it in Richmond, Virginia, which is the Confederate capital. Then they did it in Michigan, right? And these Michigan quote unquote hunters are part of the largest standing army in the world. So they're letting the other hunters know we're about to start hunting. Then yesterday, they released a video of the quote unquote hunters hunting because the people who killed the man in Georgia, the brother by the name of Ahmad, that would be the same pieces of shit who would be marching, right, on the state capitol in Michigan. Those are the same people honking their horns. Those are the same people talking about they going to a Trump rally. Those are the same people talking about make America great again. And those are the same people that individuals in our community are telling you that you should align yourself with because that will be the best choice for you politically. And what I'm saying is that would not be. I think that those people should give us not just answers, but those people should give us the heads of the Europeans who are taking our people's heads. Because if you have allies that are European, they should go and put in work for you, right? And that never has happened in Black America, as far as I've known, ever. But the European put fatigues on you niggas and they put purple hearts on you, and you niggas run Rambo. They'll drop you niggas off in a fucking rainforest or a jungle, and you will kill the whole jungle for them, right? They get you they get you a Dodge Charger. You know what I'm talking about? A duplex somewhere in a cul-de-sac somewhere, and they'll give you an AR or an AK or M16, some Doc Martin boots, and drop you in a rainforest somewhere in Cambodia, somewhere where there's some melanated people that they told you is the enemy. They're not gonna drop you in Russia. They're not dropping you in Europe. They'll drop you in places where yellow people are, brown and black, and you niggas go full Rambo mode. But you never brought no pale face. You ain't bring Tommy from Power back in the hood to come and lay nothing down. They not catching stings. You niggas never put you never put a fucking Gucci suit on a white boy. You niggas never put a jogger suit. You never put no Sean John on a white boy and put a motherfucking Negro patch on them, a red, black, and green patch. You didn't put an NAACP and then put fucking Black Power patch on them and send them to go handle your business. But they sent you to handle their business every day. Every day. You niggas is crash test dummies. You niggas is crash test dummies. For $14.50 an hour, exactly. You niggas. So when integration happened and they were no longer segregating, did they come and sit down at your table? Did they come and work for you? How did that whole deal work out? Older Black people who were there when that deal got brokered, of my father's generation and my mother's generation. How did that whole deal go down? What was the trade-off? What did we get in return? Because they didn't come to work for us. They didn't come and clean for us. They didn't come and say sorry to us. But you had Negroes apologizing. Niggas groveling Negroes. They was apologizing for getting beat up at Selma. Oh, sir, I'm sorry for being there. I didn't mean to run into your fist. They had niggas apologizing for sitting at the counters in Woolworth. I didn't mean to sit there. Sorry. I was just, listening to James Brown. What do we get? You got to sit on the front of the bus, but you don't own the bus. You don't even own the seats. They didn't even give you the contract to put the fucking rug on the bus. They didn't give you the contract for the screws, for all of the screws on the bus. They didn't give you the contract for the glass to put in the bus. They didn't give you the contract for the brakes, because all buses need brakes. All buses need windows. All buses need screws. You didn't get the contract to build no buses. So what did we gain? The fighting class, the black veterans. Did you come back and teach combat? Did you come back and teach tactical? Did you start your own private security firms? Did you follow in the footsteps of Eric Prince and start a quote unquote private military organization or a wing and whatnot? Did you do that? Did you start a contracting company like Titan, like Z, like Blackwater? Did you follow in those footsteps, black veteran? And did you legitimize your motherfucking military's training? Did you come back and help? Did you help the gangbangers shoot straight? Did you take niggas to ranges and whatnot so they could stop shooting sideways? Did you have a citizen's arrest? Did you go to Tulsa, Oklahoma, to the group, to old senior home, and did you make a citizen's arrest, Mr. Black law enforcer, Mr. Black motherfucking military, or even Mr. Black man with a gun? Because if these Europeans in Georgia could say that they were doing a citizen's arrest, then what happened to you deputizing yourself? Did you go and liberate? Did you go and study the faces of those Europeans who were at those barbecues and picnics when they were lynching our people who were still alive? Did you put that picture through Google and see if it pops up with anything? Did you put an investigator on the test? Did you hand any of your, rambunctious young shooters the name and the address of somebody who you wanted to, pay a visit? Did you do any of these things? I'm wondering. Because you are legally, right? And we're not talking about doing anything illegal. I'm saying within the legal parameters of your job title, of what you sacrificed, and you put your fucking neck on the line when you niggas was all up in Afghanistan and Iraq and Basra and other places killing off men, women, and child. When you was in Fallujah, shooting babies down, right? When you was in Korea, older black men knifing the motherfucking Koreans with the bayonets. When you was in Panama, slaughtering black people. You was doing all of this stuff. Your hands are so bloody. You got so much blood on your hands, Mr. Vietnam. You got so much fucking blood on your hands, Mr. Cambodia, Mr. Laos, Mr. World War II. What did you get out of that, though? So, I don't know. But yeah, here goes the quote unquote militias, right? And like I said, this story is a familiar story, right? The story is a very familiar story. The story that we're seeing with this brother is not an isolated story because we've seen this before. The story is very familiar. But let's read about the Standing Army. Okay. Shortly after noon on Thursday, a Michigan state senator was confronted by an armed protester marauding through the Capitol in Lansing and demanding an end to coronavirus lockdown. Directly above me, men with rifles yelling at us, Pachowski tweeted frantically from the Senate floor. The accompanying pictures shot from her desk showed men in fatigues with assault rifles in the gallery above. I was a high school teacher for almost 20 years, and I was aware someone could come in and shoot things up. I consider myself a tough gal, but this seemed all too real, she told me the following day. When anger is stoked like that and people have guns, things can go wrong. She said her hands shook as she took the picture. The protests erupted as the Michigan legislature debated whether to extend the state emergency issued by Governor Gretchen Whitmer, which was about to expire. Under Michigan law, all political signs are banned from the Capitol, so protesters at the American Patriot rally had to leave their banners and placards at the door, but not their loaded weapons, which are legal to carry in public, even in the legislature. I'm afraid that is the way it is in Michigan right now. Okay? I bet you if New Era Detroit ran up in there with some hammers out, they wouldn't be saying that. That's a crock of shit. They'll say anything. A series of protests, primarily in state capitals, are demanding the end of COVID-19 lockdown restrictions. Among the protesters are people who express concern about their jobs or the economy as a whole. But there's also far right-wing conspiracy theorists, white supremacists like the Proud Boys, and citizens militia members at these protests. The exact number of each group that attends these protests is unknown. Look, listen to this. Since police have not traditionally monitored these groups, okay? Each one of these groups is on, most of these are on a goddamn hate terror watch list. But they said that the number is unknown since police have not been traditionally monitoring these groups because they'll be monitoring themselves. But signs and symbols of far-right groups have been seen at many of these protests across the country. These protests risk spreading the virus and have disrupted traffic, potentially delaying ambulances. But as results of street gangs and far-right groups' violence and recruitment, we believe these protests may become a way right-wingers expand the spread of anti-Semitic rhetoric and militant racism. Proud Boys and many other far-right activists don't typically focus their concern on whether stores or businesses are open. They're usually more concerned about pro-white, pro-male rhetoric. They're attending these rallies as part of their long-standing search for the opportunity to make extremist groups look mainstream, and because they're always looking for potential recruits to further their cause. Okay? So this is the Michigan Volunteer Defense Force and the emergency volunteers. Okay. So this was in Indiana. This was on May 7th. This was very tragic. This young man who, like I said, he was a Army veteran, right? He was an Army veteran, right? And he was running from the police. His name was Sean Reed, okay? And he was in a high speed chase with the police, and he said in the video, "You're never gonna catch me. I'm gone. I'm not going to jail today. You gotta catch me, baby. I'm not going to jail today." He then reveals his location, stating, "I'm gonna park this motherfucker and get the fuck out." After getting out of his vehicle, Reed can be heard asking someone, "What'd you say?" Before the camera shows Reed's face and him yelling, "Fuck you." Moments later, gunshots are heard and the camera points to the sky as Reed presumably collapses. As the video is still broadcasting, an officer can be heard saying to another, "Looks like it's going to be a closed casket, homie." So this is Ahmaud Arbery, okay? Ahmaud was shot and killed in Brunswick, Georgia, while jogging on February 25th. Okay, keep that date in your minds. All right, February 25th. Okay, this was before March Madness. So this was before the quote unquote Corona lockdown. All right, so it was okay for him to be jogging because they didn't even implement social distances as of yet. He was just enjoying his life. He was jogging, he was just getting some air. Okay. So he was killed on the 25th, and the video of the shooting was posted online on May 5th, right? So it took a while. Somebody leaked the video, all right? They filmed it and they passed the video around to their friends, and one of the friends leaked the video. Okay. So the suspects, the McMichaels are white. Gregory McMichael, a 60-year-old former police officer and investigator for local district attorney's officers, told the police that he and his 34-year-old son suspected Albury was involved in burglaries that had occurred in the neighborhood, according to a police report released by the Glenn County Police Department. They chased him down in their pickup truck while armed with a handgun and a shotgun. Travis McMichael shot Arbery because he believed he was being violently attacked. Now, we've seen the video and we know that that's a crock of shit. Okay? We know that that's a crock of shit. We know that they're lying. So he was killed on February 25th by an individual that's law enforcement. And because of the law enforcement ties, this case was being buried. Where does that sound like? Okay, that sounds like the Trayvon Martin story. Now, this is located 4 hours away from Georgia, right? Glenn County, which was right next to Charleston, right on the border. You see these are coastal towns. This is the same coastal towns that I was breaking down when I was giving you the information about slavery and how the slavery that was implemented in Charlestown, South Carolina, was different from the slavery that was being implemented in the Chesapeake Bays. This was a whole different, there were different Europeans implementing slavery. These Europeans they came from Barbados. They penetrated into the Savannah and Georgia regions and, penetrated into Indian country or Indian land, low country. They committed a lot of atrocities, warfare. They were traders and whatnot. They were trading with the natives and whatnot. They were also planters. Okay. So this area has a lot of slavery history and a lot of history dealing with that quote unquote um, you know, history. Okay. So, okay, somebody said Brunswick is where Jekyll Island is. Go and look up Jekyll Island. So Brunswick is where Jekyll Island. So they killed that man near Jekyll Island, right? Now, what was the name of the young man who just got executed? Give me the name of the man that just got executed. He got executed in jail. The prisons just executed this black man. Okay. Now let me see his name, and then I'll continue. Somebody in the chat, if you have his name, can you drop it? And then we're gonna, you know. Now the reason why I'm asking you about that, Nathaniel Woods, right? Nathaniel Woods was executed, right? Okay. Nathaniel Woods was executed, and a lot of people was upset about the Nathaniel Woods execution, right? And that was resting on a lot of people's hearts. And this was right before the COVID-19 lockdown. Do you remember that? That was in Alabama, right? Can you recall? Because I know a lot has happened since we've all been going through this collective trauma, because that's what it is, and it's a psyops, and it's dealing and it's activating a lot of PTSD in people, and we're dealing with a lot of people that we love who have left us, right? Okay. Yes, Jekyll Island is where the Federal Reserve was first implemented. Thank you. Jekyll Island is where the Federal Reserve was first implemented. That is a very significant place. Yes, Nathaniel Woods. Now, the reason why I bring up Nathaniel Woods is because there are startling similarities between this new case with the quote unquote Trayvon Martin case. Okay. There are some startling connections between this case that we see going on, this psyops that we see going on right now, and with the Trayvon Martin case. Now, when the Trayvon Martin case was presented to us, right, as a people and as a collective, we were going through collective trauma. We were going through a collective trauma that we were somewhat numb to the Trayvon Martin case when it first happened. What was that collective trauma? That collective trauma was Troy Davis. I was in Atlanta around that time when Troy Davis was executed. Okay. Troy Davis was executed on September 21st, 2011. All right. And he was wrongly accused, and there was 34 witnesses to say that he did not commit the crime, and all of these things maintained his innocence, but he was locked down for 20 years. Desmond Tutu was riding for him. He had a whole bunch of senators, all kind of politicians were like, he's not guilty, don't kill him, and they killed him. And a lot of people were crushed as a result of that, right? Do not in my name, do not kill Troy Davis, not in my name, not in my name. And then they killed them, right? So then right after that, right, on February 26, 2012, right? And this man who was just killed was killed on February 25th, 2020. So almost to the day, 8 years later, right? This brother who was jogging, Trayvon Martin was not jogging, he was walking, right? But he was in a neighborhood, right? A residential neighborhood. He was hunted down in a truck by an assailant who was taking the own law in his hands by the name of George Zimmerman, who deputized himself to be the law, the same way that this man, his life was taken from him by a man who took the law in his hand. So brother Ahmad, who was jogging, they took his life by deputizing themselves and committing a citizen's arrest. What was George Zimmerman doing? A citizen's arrest. He killed him February 25th during the halftime show. Remember the quote unquote NBA All-Star game halftime show. The NBA All-Star game was in Orlando in quote unquote Magic Arena, in the Orlando Magic Arena in Orlando, where Seminole County or Sanford County is not far away. They were watching. Trayvon Martin was at home with his stepbrother. They were watching the All-Star game. During halftime, he went to the store for Skittles and whatever else, I think the iced tea, and he was killed before he was able to come home. His father and his stepmother was on a date. That was his fiance. They left the children at home. When the father came home, he thought the Trayvon Martin, he did not know what happened to his son for 3 days. Do you understand what happened? Do you understand what I'm talking about? He did not know. They did not know that this young man was basically, look at this. Look at how they had this man. And I don't want to be, I don't want to scare y'all. Okay. Well, the slide is not even coming up. I don't know why, but the slide is not coming up. I was going to show you a picture where they had that man laying on the lawn looking like the hangman card with his legs directly like the hangman card with his mouth open. You feel me? Staring into the sky, a lifeless corpse. That was young Trayvon, shot down like a fucking dog, bro. Right? And George Zimmerman was walking around, right? Like whatever. Like, you niggas is not gonna do nothing to me. Okay? So Trayvon Martin's case was extremely important. Let me get into why this case was important. Let me get into the Trayvon Martin factor, okay? Let me get into the fact that this was the catalyst of consciousness. This case in 2012, on February 2012, was the catalyst to the woke movement. It was the catalyst to Black Lives Matter. It was the catalyst to consciousness. It woke people up out of their stupor, out of their sleep. This was the 2012 catalyst. This was the quote unquote 2012 eye opening. This was the biggest case of that year. This was the most important event in the collective Black experience of that year. There's nothing else to trump that. They had us encapsulated in this trial by 2013. What were we all saying? We are Trayvon. We are Trayvon, right? They even had a cover of the Essence magazine with the Wade and the young boy who wants to be a girl. His name is Zion, his son, and the son had on they both had on hoodies, and on the cover it said "We are Trayvon," right? So children like the Wade's son, who wants to be a girl, right? He wants to cut off his phallus. He was directly affected by that. He was traumatized by that. The babies got traumatized by the Trayvon Martin ritual because prior to that, the babies were on a code where they were looking at a black man with with melanin, with Africanoid features, with Moorish Asiatic features by the name of Barack Hussein Obama, and the young children, the young black babies were saying that I am him. That is me. I can be him. I can be president. I'm presidential. I don't know anything about racism and stuff like that because I'm brand new to this world. So the children who were born during the Obama era, they were not inundated with quote unquote racism. My son was born in 2007. What would he know about racism when the first word that he said was Obama? What would he know about that? He was reacting to the whole wave at like 1 year old. Like he knew everything that was going on. He was caught up in that whole hype. He was on it. So what would my son know about people hating him because of his skin color? What would my son know about being shot down in the street as if he was less than an animal? My son was not familiar with that. He was not. He wasn't born with PTSD. The trauma. He wasn't. His mother did not. He wasn't born with the trauma. He wasn't born like an indentured servant or a vassal of the state. So he was introduced to that by way of the media, by way of this case. This case was a catalyst, an extreme catalyst. And the fact that this case wasn't handled correctly on any fronts whatsoever, this case has been the proverbial Asian hornet's stinger that's in our side. All right. And that stinger is a poisonous stinger. And that poisonous stinger has a venom inside of it that is poisoning the collective husk of Black America to whereas we are asymptomatic, right? But we are poisoned. Okay. We are being poisoned by the inactivity that is still swirling around the lack of justice that this case has never received. All right. This has, as the days go by, the stocks, the collective stocks fall. The weakness is still here. The poison is still flowing through the veins. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? They put Black America on trial. They put Black boys on trial. Trayvon Martin was dead by the time the trial started. They were not putting him on trial. He was already dead. What the trial was about was, is it legally okay? Are we sanctioning the legal right to kill these niggas? Or can we take care of the nigger problem? Can we deal with the perceived threat lawfully? And the acquittal to George Zimmerman was a striking indictment against the Black youth of America. And the European took that as the motherfucking impetus to start this soft war against our people. And the motherfucking guns have been ringing off ever since. And if you niggas act like that's not what's been happening, then you not my niggas. I don't know you. You know what I'm saying? We're not the same. And that's really not a problem. You know what I mean? We're allowed to be different. But you just don't realize what's been you know what we do when we scared? We ignore shit. Niggas want this Trayvon shit to go away. They just want to wake up one day and Zimmerman is dead. They want it to go away. They don't want to look at it. They don't want to deal with it. They don't even want me to talk about it because Trayvon hurts. Trayvon is still pain. Trayvon is core. Trayvon is going to always come back unless you deal with the case. Trayvon, this shit has the ability. This is spiraled out of control. This is spiraled out of control. The rappers let us down. All right, let's talk about this. The rappers let us down, y'all. Okay. One of the big he was Rick Ross is one of Rick Ross runner. He was in Carroll City High School. So one of the top rappers that he listened to was Rick Ross and Trick Daddy and all of these niggas from Miami who didn't do nothing to quote unquote avenge him. They talked about his digital footprint. He liked rap music and tweeted about Tupac Shakur, DMX, and Mystical, right? Tupac. So this is Trayvon's spirit that we're talking about. You could tell a lot about a person based off of the music that they listening to. So he was into Tupac Shakur. He was into DMX, Hell is Hot. And he was also into some Mystical, Danger. You understand? So he want to listen. He was with the shits. He understood life. He was exploring it from a darker perspective based off of what he was listening to. So you will hope. So you will hope that the people that he was fans of would try to do something to, keep his memory, settle his memory, to, make his parents, sleep good at night. This is the timeline of the whole thing that went down. This was the timeline. A whole bunch of shit going on. But the same way that they charged the Europeans, right? Now check this out. There's too many coincidences. Zimmerman was involved with law enforcement. His father was a judge, a retired judge, right? He's a Cuban Jew. He's a Spanish Jew, right? His father was a retired judge and a Mason, right? This European who just shot this brother, he's a retired officer. Now, he shot Ahmad in February, and they just arrested him and his son today on the moon. Today is May 8th. Okay? Today is May 8th. It took them to lock Zimmerman up, right? The same way. It took them all the way to April the 11th. So on 4/11, Zimmerman is charged with second-degree murder. His lawyer, Mark O'Mara, tells CNN that Zimmerman turned himself in. Okay? So an all-female jury is selected. Damn, I didn't realize it was all-female. The 6 women find him not guilty, right? And then on August the 28th, his wife pleads guilty to perjury. Then on December 4th, Zimmerman files $100 million lawsuits against the parents, right? Then he gets locked up in 2012. His wife gets locked up, right? He's released, you know. He caught a bunch of charges. I mean, we could get into that. He caught a whole bunch of charges. Now, we have something going on in this community that needs to be addressed, right? So we're going on, and there's a war going on outside, right? There's a lot of things going on right now. The possibility that Bill Gates, you know, Mr. Windows 95, and his wife Melinda, you know, who belong to the Melinda Gates Foundation. You know, there's the possibility that those people might really be Cobra Commander and the Baroness. And they out here to try to kill niggas wholesale. I'm talking about they trying to pull numbers. They trying to do some numbers on niggas, right? And you know, the Breakfast Club, they had Dr. Fauci on. It was smiling, you know, smiling and beguiling with Dr. Fauci. I think it was Leonard DeGaude. And come to find out, Dr. Fauci, not only does he have blood on his hands with the COVID-19, man, that nigga was killing niggas with AIDS back in the days. He goes all the way back to the AIDS epidemic, dealing, you know, back in Sabi's days, you know, early Sabi shit. They was going up against the Faucis of the world. Sabi was going up against Fauci and them in the 80s, bro. Right? So all of a sudden, coming out of left field, you got P. Diddy, right? Mr. Ciroc Liquor. This nigga's doing a state of emergency for black folks. A state of emergency for black folks. So I'm like, wait a minute. How the hell is Puff Daddy doing a state of emergency? Like, what the fuck? What does he know about the state of emergency? And what the fuck does Angela Rye and Kamala Harris and Van Jones? What does Big Sean know about black people in the state of emergency for black people? Nigga, what? Excuse me? And who gave him the go ahead? Like, you just can't come out and say, you know, some people would be like, well, at least he tried. No, nigga, you fuck trying. That's not what this is. This is not a fucking drill. This is not an exercise. You're not trying out on our people. This nigga got Al Sharpton. This is like the woke Power Rangers, bro. Are you serious? AOC, Reverend Al, looking like a wet noodle. Van Jones. Did this nigga start crying during the fucking live? Because he's always crying around white folk. Angela Ryebread. And Sean Combs. I'm not even going to play the video because I don't want to get one of those strikes and whatnot. You know what I mean? But this nigga sounds all the way retarded. If you watch the video that I'm showing you right here and listen to Brother Love or P. Diddy, he sounds like an absolute fool when he opens his mouth. And I'm not being a hater. I'm not even being judgmental. That nigga sounds like a fool. I'm just really being truthful because I could try to cover it up and be one of these apologists to be out here lap dancing these fucking celebrities. But I'm letting you know, this nigga sounds like an asshole. He should never have opened up his mouth. He should, if even if you're gonna use your platform to let people do them, have a fucking like fall back. You don't got, you know, Suge Knight told you about being all up in the videos, all up in, you know, dancing, and you know, you want to be deep now. You want to be all in the videos, whole tapping, and you know, all, you know, you want to be all woke and shit. You do a woke, you're gonna come up with a woke dance. You old dancing ass nigga. He was in the house while Dr. Fauci and these niggas was killing people. Him and his fucking sons was in the house dancing on live all fucking day, right? And I'm sitting there looking at it, and I'm like, this is the most clownish nigga on the planet. This, he's supposed to be a billionaire, and he's in the house with his overly grown ass children. Where are their wives at? First of all, these niggas are dancing on each other in a hot ass house, right? Dancing for the live. You don't know who's watching you. You niggas is just clout chasing for the fucking live. Were you raising some kind of money for single mamas? And why doesn't your sons, like, they could have been working on a D-Wave computer. These little niggas could be doing something monumental. They're Sean Combs' sons. Like, why don't they own multi-million-dollar businesses, bro? These niggas, this little nigga Justin Combs, we was eating at his restaurant 20 years ago. Like, why doesn't he have restaurants? Why you little niggas still running around in the house doing TikTok dances? You're Puff Daddy's children. You don't have to dance. You niggas don't understand? That nigga dance so you niggas can run. Why y'all not running or flying or something? The whole family is dancing. What the fuck is this? The mass dancer during the fucking crisis? This is pure clown fuckery. And it's not even sad. It's something that will get a nigga's head knocked off in other places. It's almost, and I'm not talking about grown men dancing. It's whatever, you know, niggas is gonna dance. Black people like to dance, right? That's their thing. What I'm referring to is the exclusion of credible people, right, to handle the crises amongst our people. Now, this is the state of emergency, the state of Black America, right? The state of Black America. Like, any one of these people are doing something for Black America other than what they get paid to do. These are fucking employees, right? That's like a nigga working at Popeyes bragging about the fuck that he sells chicken. That's what you there to do. So P. Diddy is like, I entertain Black people. Nigga, that's what you get paid by the bank to do. Universal, Def Jam, Sony, all of these places, wherever Al Sharpton works, wherever Van Zone works, there is all a bank. The record labels are just banks. They're not even businesses like that. They're only loan offices. They're extensions of the bank. What does a record label do? A record label extends a loan. That's all they do. And there's other little machinations of there's white dudes in there to do album covers on, you know, in the graphics department. There's PR people up in there. There's a little bit of radio people, personnel in there. But for the most part, these are banks. And when you sign a record deal, let's say that Red Pill signed $10 million record deal. Red Pill is $10 million in debt. Red Pill is going to pay back $21 million. Red Pill more than likely will be on Unsung with a fucking conch, a long ass weave or something. You know what I'm talking about? Talking about the good old days on YouTube. You know what I mean? And that's not what's up. And we've seen that many, many, many times. Why do you think so many Black people get jerked by these banks? Because they think that they're signing to something. They don't even know that they bragging about getting, I got signed at $30 million. Well, nigga, have fun paying that back. You work for you're owned by these people now. They own you until you pay it back. So you could miss me with any celebrity that got a contract. Nigga, you can't even speak like that. You can't even speak. You if you speak out of turn, you could get penalized by the nigga that owns you. They'll pull out a paper and be like, nigga, I got the papers on this nigga. I own him. He's mine. There's people walking around with your title in their pocket. So have a, I'm not, the celebrities are treading in dangerous waters right now, because at this point, there's going to have to be a line drawn, and it's going to have to be a line that we understand what side that we're on. And I have no idea going forward what side these niggas is on, because if they down with the Democrats, then they the ops. They're not on our side. If they still talking about go and vote for Joe Biden, they're not on our side. If they're still talking about, oh, black excellence, and then they're putting out a new liquor, black excellence by Ciroc, you know what I mean? They're not, these motherfuckers are not us. And for the fact that somebody could just say Hotep or put on a dashiki and then just get exonerated and come amongst us, what does that say about us? People could do anything to our they could put out any kind of poison products. They could have a 40-year run or 30 or 40 or 20-year run on being Pied Pipers, blowing their flutes and leading mad people off the cliff, or blowing their flute and leading mad people into the prison complex industry, blowing their flute and leading mad little children into places like how they lead chicken nuggets into the grinder. They're leading these little children into grinders to get grinded up. These are the employees of the banks. They're in collusions with the small hats. The small hats are employing poor people with poor decision-making abilities to spread and to quote unquote promote poor man's thinking. What is poor man's thinking? Poor man's thinking is, I'm gonna take a penitentiary chance for something that I could have just fucking worked for. That's poor man's thinking. Poor man's thinking is, I'm gonna sell some box for $20 on a Cash App. That's poor man's thinking. Poor man's thinking is, I'm going to sell a $5 rock of cocaine to a pregnant woman because I need some Jordans. Poor man's thinking is, it's all about the Benjamins. That's poor man's thinking. Poor man's thinking is money, cash, hoes. That's poor man's thinking. Poor man's thinking is money, hoes, and clothes. Nigga, that's a poor man's thinking. That's poverty consciousness. That's what poor people think about. That's not a wealthy mind. That's a rich mind. That is not in a mind of abundance. I'm sorry. So these entertainers are training you to be motherfucking self-destructive, and they're training you to be brain dead and to willfully follow them anywhere that they tell you to go, and to vote for anybody that they tell you to vote for, or to drink any drink that they're selling you, or to eat any of the fucking wrapped potato chips and the noodles that Master P is selling you. That's what they're saying. And at the end of all of that is mad white people with their hands in these people's pockets. I'm talking about these niggas are stripping them. They digging all in their pockets like NA Rock niggas back in the days when they used to go to Manhattan and rob white people. That's how they in their pockets. All they in their back pockets, they in their pencil pocket, they're in their side pocket, they're in their front pockets. You understand? They even in their kangaroo pouch. They digging in all of their pockets. Okay? They digging in all of their pockets. So amongst them, out of the bunch that I see that's really out of his fucking lane and is really out there reaching, and over the past few, he puts out his lives and his little, P. Diddy is running behind DJ Khaled when it comes to the whole, I'm positive and have a good day and I'm smelling the roses. That's just him, dick ride. He's just following what Khaled did to get him popping on Snapchat. That's really see-through. But lately, he's really been jumping all over the place, trying to, I feel like he's moseying in. He's becoming the quote unquote head, he's becoming the figurehead to the quote unquote woke marketplace. The woke marketplace, right? The figurehead to the woke marketplace. Woke is a marketplace. It's not a community. It's not a movement. Woke is a marketplace. Woke was given birth during the Trayvon Martin, quote unquote, catalyst, or the Trayvon Martin factor. I have like I said, let me do this real quick. No, let me not do this real quick. When we finish this lecture, I'll go on Google and pull up the Trayvon Martin factor on Blogtalk, so you'll see what it looks like, so you can have the impetus to go and research and listen to it. I did it in 2013. I want you to listen to it. I might re-upload it to the YouTube channel as well, but I really want you to listen to it because it was extremely on point, prophetic, and it's a chock full of research and information. It's about 3.5 hours. I did it in 2013. I was under stress and duress because of the Trayvon Martin and the Zimmerman acquittal. Who remembers the acquittal in July of 2013? I was upset. I was in Miami and that shit had me heated, bro. And the Cubans in Miami was acting like dickheads that weekend. They were really showing that they don't give a damn about us. They opened up my eyes. My eyes was open to the Cubans before, but after the Trayvon verdict, keep in mind, Zimmerman is a Spanish Jew, right? When the Moors were defeated, they were defeated by Spanish Jews, along with their own people who crossed them. The Spanish Jew has always been the quote unquote, the Spanish Jew is the Jesuits' tool, because the Jesuits are the military arm, and they went and they anglicized and they deputized a lot of the quote unquote Spaniards, who they basically flipped. They flipped them, they buck broke them, right? Alejandro and all of them, they buck broke them, and then they had them as their standing army. And the Sephardic Jews, along with the Spaniards in Spain and whatnot, they were down with the double cross. And when you go to any of these Latin American countries, anywhere that you go in Latin America, there's that there's that group, you know what I mean? There's that population of traders and people who are loyal to the church. They sit on the laps of the priests and whatnot, and then they want to be law enforcement. And then when they become law enforcement, they take out their hate, the hate that was programmed in them by the religion. The religion programmed them with the curse of Ham, the hatred for all things spiritual, the hatred for astrology, card reading, cartomancy, all of these things. So these people get deputized. They give them a badge and a gun, and then they turn into conquistadors, and then they got conquistador blood. So, the woke, the woke are doing what the woke do. P. Diddy is not doing anything that he's not expected to do. And all of these talking heads, they are jockeying for a position in the woke marketplace, because the woke marketplace is the place that you go to sell all things woke. That's where Charlemagne goes to sell a book on mental health, right? Even though that nigga has no degrees on it. But I read the book, I'm not gonna lie. It was cool. The book, the pages that I read, it was cool. I'm not gonna lie. But like I said, he's in the marketplace and he has products to sell, right? He has products to sell. All of them have products. They all Killer Mike, he gonna sell you some Crip Cola and some other shit. T.I., he gonna sell you the Expeditiously merch. They got merch, they got stuff to sell. Okay. There's money that they're getting from corporate America. They're getting about 5 to 10, 20 racks to go and speak. They're getting money to promote certain candidates. They're getting money to do a lot of things. Okay. We showed it in one of the lectures that they have something that the black woman has started an agency where she gets $2,500 to have dinner with white people and ask them why do they hate her. You know, it's a business. Okay. Black black plight is a business. Black pain is a business. Black ignorance is a multi-trillion-dollar business. They've monetized us at our lowest frequencies. They monetize our ELFs. Okay, all the way up to trying. They haven't monetized us at our highest frequency. Our highest frequencies haven't necessarily been commodified or commercialized as of yet, but they've definitely monetized all of our lower expressions. Us in the strip club, us, sex working, porn, drug dealing, killing, prostitution, pimping. They've monetized all of that. I'm talking about they know how to create mandingo wrestlers. They know how to put black people against each other. All that. Okay, all of that. So yes, if people consider any one of these people one of their leaders, then that might not be your people. You know what I'm saying? Like those may be people with flawed judgments. If a person sees one of these people as their leader, I would really highly, it would make me think, it would make me question who those people are. Like I wouldn't trust anything that they said after that, because I would say that you are functioning in an extremely limited capacity if these people are considered to be, your leaders. If you trust, if you can't see through those people and you trust them with your health, your safety, and your lives, I would question your mental fortitude. So then, being that P Diddy he's on a roll now, he's like, fuck it, I might as well do another live stream. So he did another live stream called Health is Wealth, right? And in Health is Wealth live stream, he brought on Styles P and his wife. All right. Shout out to Styles P, one of the most polarizing characters in hip hop, because he's a super gangster rapper, but he has a fucking juice bar. You know what I mean? And he talks about health and green and plant based and everything. But it's fucking Styles P Panero, the ghost. This nigga, the body count on one of his mixtapes is like, this shit is like World War II. Okay. And he's not riding on the KKK. Let's be clear. This nigga had Van Jones, Nick Cannon, Angela Yee, and any Negro with a fucking doctor's coat on. Like, you just have to have the way that the black excellence woke niggas work. You could be a boule, coon. I mean, they have their own. They're trying to create their own. Like Malcolm X warned you about the entertainers. He balked on Dick Gregory, Lena Horne, and a few other people. And he was like, that's not it. The fuck is you saying? That ain't it. And then somebody questioned me because I put a post on Instagram today. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go there when we finish to show you what I wrote to Nick Cannon. And I tagged him in it because I really wanted to know. So all of these people up here that you see, like somebody just put in the thing, none of them denounced Harvey Weinstein. None of them denounced Jeff Epstein, and they know these people. None of them even publicly denounced, Bill Gates. They're not denouncing anybody. They're not doing anything. They're not saying anything that's very hard to say. They're regurgitating a whole bunch of stolen cloth. They're utilizing talking points that are not strong talking points. Now, I'm not hating, once again, like I said, but we don't have the time to try to figure this out. Not when there's people who have correct information, and not when there's people who are in the front trailblazing. You don't have to ask around to find out who is doing the work. These people are not doing their research, and they know the names the same way that everybody knew who Sabi was before he died. It's only after his death that they start acting like they just heard about him. But a lot of these black entertainers and definitely the black leaders knew who Sabi was, and they purposelessly did not invite him to anything. They did not say his name. They did not mention him. They did not speak about Mama Pill curing AIDS, Ma curing AIDS, or Dr. Sabi. They did not want to have that conversation. The only time it is safe to have that conversation is when it's controlled. You know? Health is wealth, right? He definitely said that they didn't want to have that convo. You know? They're giving Gerber baby food info, not CMOS. Yo, somebody, these motherfuckers is in the chat having conversations with themselves. So we don't have time while we're under attack. People don't know where. Look, nobody has necessarily truthfully said that it's not 100% figured out to where the corona comes from. There's not 100% to say this is where the corona is coming from. There's people in the hospital that was like, yo, I was wearing a mask and I was in the house and I wasn't around nobody. How did I get the coronavirus? Then there's people who it just don't make sense the way that the way that these cases are coming. So there's a crisis going outside. There's a crisis going on. And we don't have time for information that's not 100% truth. Now, I'm not saying to go ahead with the conspiracy theories. I'm not saying to go ahead with speculation. What I'm saying to the P. Diddy's and all of these peoples of the world, you need to find new friends and you need to get around some qualified motherfucking people, and you need to stop jacking and stop trying to put yourself in places where you don't belong, because that's not your lane, nigga. If they needed somebody to dance and some other shit, then you should pull up. But that's not your lane, bro. That is not your lane. Stop that. In this little fucking peanut gallery, you got Deepak Chopra, Chris Paul, Van Lathan. What the fuck does Van Lathan know? He lost weight. All right, great. Does that make him a goddamn doctor? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Nick Cannon. Nigga, but you're not a doctor. You know what I mean? And I don't even really, you didn't get cured by Sabi. You're not on the Sabi herbs like that. You know, you look good for what you're going through. But if Nick Cannon, why didn't you tell P. Diddy about my You did all of this research on Dr. Sabi. You interviewed multiple doctors. You interviewed KT. You sat in front of Inky, Mama Pill. You sat in front of mad people. So you mean to tell me that you can't do your own state of emergency, homeboy? You can't call your own. You got enough contacts right now from doing the Sabi documentary that you could do your own state of emergency. And I know with you sitting through the documentary, you heard so much information that how the hell could you go on this shit right here with Puff Daddy and not be like, hold on. This is downstairs. You niggas is this is baby food. I done been exposed to some real shit. This shit right here. You know? Why is Sabi's family saying he wasn't murdered? Nigga, did you see him murdered? Did you see him murdered? I'm just asking. I say he was murdered, but I would say that the white man didn't do it. I would say that beyond a reason. I would say that I would stand on that 100%. That a white man didn't do it to him. I would stand on that because that's what I would stand on. So this case here, this is a catalyst case, right? People don't like to deal with this case because this case has no ending to it. There's no justice in this case. Nothing happened in this case. You know what I'm talking about? He got caught slipping and they did my brother dirty, man. You know? And nothing happened to George Zimmerman as a result of that. And he's walking around with his thumb in your, and look at him, right? He has no worries in the world. Okay? So remember this case? He was a non-emergency. He made a call to the police. Are you following him? Yeah. Okay. We don't need you to do that. Okay. But then he kept following him. It's like these people in Georgia, they was following that brother. Who told them to deputize themselves? Who told them that you could run and grab your shotgun and go chase down this man who was simply jogging in the neighborhood trying to get his vitamin D and whatnot? Who told you? Who gave you the right that you could question somebody in the neighborhood? Who are you? Who gave you the right to shoot that man like that in cold blood? And yeah, he tried to fight you back the same way that Trayvon Martin bust this dude upside his face. You know what I'm talking about? This grown ass man, he gave him the beats, right? Put the beats on him because he was a hoe. He knew that he was a big hoe. And he couldn't fight. So he had to use a gun on that young man, right? And because the rappers failed us, the actors failed us, the athletes failed us, everybody who could have handled this failed us. Everybody who could have brought some kind of resolution to this whole situation when it first started, they failed us, y'all. Because if we listen to their music, they're lying to us. They tell us that they do things that we're not seeing them do because all kind of shit has happened to us and nobody has done nothing to answer. There's been no responses, no rebuttals. Dylan Roof is still walking around. The Waffle House shooter is still walking around. God damn it. The fucking Richard Spencer's still walking around. There's nobody that has no feeling of not coming outside and coming off the fucking porch dealing with our people. Nobody is scared. Nobody feels no pressure. And that's not what we was about 20, 40, 50 years ago. We demanded our respect. We demanded our respect. And them people, they used to cross the street when they seen us coming. Not me personally. I'm just saying the people's, our people. So look at George Zimmerman, because nobody stops him. George Zimmerman starts going wild. Since he got acquitted, he's caught about 6 charges, right? He just sued Trayvon Martin's family for $100 million. He sold a gun that he killed Trayvon Martin with at an auction site. The white people love him. He's protected. The Europeans love him. He is an archetype. He is the quote unquote sign of the proverbial soft Bernard Getz. You know, he's a vigilante. He's the pushover. He's the soft wannabe. You know what I mean? He's the get wit who finally took down a nigga, right? So now he's part of their tribe. He gets to drink at bars with them. They even gave him a white girlfriend. He got a Becky or Karen, right? He got rewarded in white society. They gave him money through crowdfunding. They buy his gun at auction. They'll buy his paintings. He is not an eyesore in their community. And you don't have any white friends. Why do I say that? No white people don't give a fuck about you, because they all of them be around him. And there one of them could slip through and pull a fast one and be like, got him. Nobody's going undercover for you. Nobody is, you didn't get, nobody ain't hit you on the horn when Zimmerman passes by. No white girl on the beach hit you on FaceTime and was like, yo, that nigga's right there in the water. You know what I'm saying? Pull up on a dolphin or something. He's right here. You know what I mean? They don't care about you. They're not even working with you. Get the fuck out of here with your white friends. Kick rocks, bro. Niggas, you're the help. They're not the help. You think because they pay for the fucking meals and whatnot and they buy the weed is on them, that they're the help. No, nigga, you're the help. You didn't realize that now. You're the help. They're not the help. You're the fucking help. You make them look better. Nigga, they benefit more off of being your friend than you benefit off of being their friend. They know. They're feeding off of your swag. They could get into certain places because they're with you. There ain't too many places that you need them to get into. Nigga, this is not fucking segregation. Where you trying to get into the Russian tea club or something? Nigga, where you trying to go? Where you trying to go to a country club? You trying to chill with Tiger Woods and them? Like, where you trying to go? To Joe Exotic's fucking cage or something? Where you trying to go to Carol Baskin's house? What are they gonna get you through the VIP line, nigga? You don't have enough swag to get through that. What do white people, what do you need them for? They can't help you get a job, nigga. What do you need them for? Us to get in the swingers club? You could do that on Tinder. What do you need them for? Like, what is their purpose? Because they're feeding more from you than you're feeding from them. I bet you that. And if all you're getting from them is shit that they could buy for you, you're a fucking hoe. You're a prostitute. All right. You sit around and let white people buy shit for you. Okay. You're a fucking bird. There's nothing to be proud of in that. That's just a micro version of what the fucking government was doing to either you or your loved ones. So the reason why I said that the rappers let us down is because this man is an eyesore, and nobody is bringing up the fact that this dude is reckless as fuck, and his recklessness is almost like, let's think about a wound, right? Let's think about an open wound, right? His recklessness, every time he does something, every time he sells or auctions a weapon, every time he puts out a tweet that's derogatory, every time he threatens Jay-Z and Beyonce's life, it's even more of a quote unquote you know, he's adding more salt to the quote unquote wound. He's opening up the wound. He's not allowing the wound to heal. The wound will never heal as long as he does not get the proper justice that his hand has called for him. Okay? There is no God as long as he's around. Do you understand that? I don't give a fuck who you pray to. I don't care what pot you niggas is in. Your God is not strong enough. Your God is not effective enough. And that nigga is not active enough to take care of one of the issues, the catalyst to not just our people. He's a fucking cancer, bro. I don't understand. I don't think y'all understand what this case was and what it brought about. And I'm up here risking a lot just talking about this shit, bro. I'm on YouTube really putting myself in a lot of fucking putting myself in predicaments that I should not be putting myself in because I want to try to explain something. I don't think people even respect that. This is called I'm speaking, this is not, I'm not even gonna say nothing else. Like I'm not even gonna go further because you know I'm not going to manifest anything in a negative sense. But these days and times, the way that they're censoring speech, you know, that's why these are slides for the lecture on the 15th. This is just my intro. This is just like a preliminary. This is a tease. But we're gonna get a lot more deeper. We're gonna speak a lot more freer. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, I want to go in. I want to dive a little bit in and speak my mind underneath this Scorpion moon. I want to get into my full Scorpion bag. Like I want the fucking stinger and everything to come out. But you know, nigga, I don't want to be in Leavenworth in a fucking few weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want my, I don't want to go super crazy the way that I want to go crazy because there's some things that I want to say about this man right now that I have to keep in mind that I'm on an open network. Okay, so on the 15th, in the privacy of Zoom, even though that's a fucking a federal hotbed too, but in the privacy of being off of YouTube, we'll have a more in-depth conversation about the steps that need to be taken to move our people forward, and I will be able to point out, who are some of the people who are intricately tied in to this is a ritual. This is a ritual. Yeah, there's a time and a place for everything. But y'all speak Swahili, right? Y'all understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? So this piece of work actually threatened to kill Jay-Z. He said he was going to feed him to the crocodiles. When Jay-Z was working on the Trayvon Martin documentary, he directly threatened his life. Not only did he threaten his life, he went across the line. This nigga's a piece of work. He threatened his wife's life. Okay? So not only did he threaten his wife's life, because like I said, he is a super troll. He is trolling, and the way that he is trolling, he's taking energy because the more attention that you pay to him, the stronger, not that he represents something, the stronger that egregor gets. Because like I said, Trayvon Martin, the archetype of the black youth, was on trial. They said that the black hood, Trayvon Martin with the black hood, Trayvon Martin in the black hood, Trayvon Martin in the black hood, right? Y'all, everybody, nobody's wearing contacts, right? Everybody has relatively good eyes, right? What color is that? Is that black or is that gray? Now, I'm to the understanding that he had a hood on, right? I'm to the understanding that he had a hood on when he got shot, but he didn't have a hood on, right? Because here's his picture. Where is it at? I thought he had a black hood on too until I saw the death picture. And I said, hold on. He got a gray hood on. There you go. He got a gray hood on. Is that black or is that gray? And he's in the hangman pose. Do you see the pose with his legs? That is a Masonic ritual. That is the hangman pose. If you put him upside down, that is a hangman pose. Okay? So this is who was on trial. Do you see the picture of Zimmerman? I mean of TRAYVON with the gold fronts? You see the picture where he had his two middle fingers up before, and he got the picture with the hood on. That's who was on trial. So he didn't have a black hood on. The black hood was on trial. That's why they kept saying black hood, black hood. The black hood was on trial. He didn't have necessarily, he had a gray hood on. The black hood that they kept bringing up. Black hood, black hood, black hood, black hood, black hood. Well, Trayvon Martin was already an ancestor by time of his trial. George Zimmerman wasn't necessarily being treated like the suspect. As a matter of fact, based off of the cross-examination and the way that they were going in, right? Trayvon Martin more so was being on trial because his friend, the girl who was on the phone with him, who they had her on the stand, she was on trial. Young black men, little young black men, they were on trial. Young black 18-year-olds and 17-year-olds, they were on the trial for their lives. And what was being established was whether it was going to be open season or not. When they acquitted Zimmerman, that young man Keith Jordan got killed in the quote unquote gas station by the white man from Jacksonville who said that he killed that young man for having his music too loud. Then when he got locked up, he said verbatim, "Ah man, why y'all locking me up? I thought because y'all let that nigger get killed in Florida that this was okay." That's what he said. Okay. So yeah, somebody said Obama was president. You damn right. You damn right he was you damn right he was president during that quote unquote ritual. And he said, what did he say? He said Trayvon looks like he could be my son. So everybody personalized Trayvon. Everybody became Trayvon. Everybody made Trayvon them. So as a result of making Trayvon you, you're going to get the result. So if he gets acquitted for killing Trayvon, then you did not receive no justice. You walked around with a hole in your heart. You walked around with no justice whatsoever. You did not go and take it in your hand. You did not go and demand the justice. You said that I'm Trayvon. Well, Trayvon got washed by the court, by Lady Justice. Trayvon got painted by quitting the acquittal on George Zimmerman. What it did is retroactively paint that young man as a quote unquote gangster. It painted him as a criminal. It painted him as somebody worthy of being killed. It painted him as a worthy opponent. It painted him as a perceived threat. By acquitting George Zimmerman, they told the hunters, the the largest standing army in the world, they told the hunters that it is okay to hunt. You don't have to only hunt bears. You don't only have to hunt deers. You don't only have to hunt coyotes. You've been training on how to kill these niggas in the motherfucking jungles and the forests of America for all of this time. Now we're finally giving you the opportunity to hunt these niggas. And then Trump became president. And then the hunting really ramped up a notch. And I'm saying this, that in these days and time with all of these planetaries alignment, Pluto and retro and Scorpio full moon and Saturn and all of these conjunctions, what I'm saying is It's not far-fetched for these motherfuckers to pull an October surprise on our people, a Red October on us. The purge is possible at this point. The purge is possible. And this motherfucker would lead the charge. You will see Zimmerman resurface because he will be a purge mascot. If you see him resurface in the next few weeks, then you already know what's taking place through the media, that they're setting the stage and they're speaking in silent tones, because this case in Georgia is the same case that took place in 2012. There's an 8-year cycle. They're bringing back the same energy. It's going to trigger our people. Our people have already been triggered. Our people have already been triggered as a result of this new case. Keep that in mind. Okay? They're already there. Go online right now and go scroll through the timelines. They are triggered about this thing with Brother Ahmad. Okay? So George Zimmerman threatened, and then he brought Snoop in the thing because Snoop was beefing as a result, right? Bumping your gums. You niggas is gangster rappers, Twitter beefing with George Zimmerman, bumping your gums and giving a troll more power. You're not even supposed to say nothing. You don't give somebody like that no power. You don't speak to them. They're invisible. You take them out in silence. You deal with them when the cameras are off. You handle your business with them off camera, okay? Because more than likely, the majority of people like that don't got no smoke when the cameras are not on. These are keyboard gangsters. Okay, Zimmerman, 34, allegedly wrote that if he saw Jay-Z and Beyonce, they'll find themselves inside a 13-foot alligator. The message was reportedly sent by Zimmerman to a private investigator who contacted him while seeking participants for Rest in Power, the Trayvon Martin story, a documentary series produced by Jay-Z and Harvey Weinstein. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So George Zimmerman arrested again regarding finances. 2013, he was arrested for aggravated assault and battery on his girlfriend. Then 2015, right? And he got shot at by a Florida man named Matthew Apperson, the only white dude that was really riding, all right? And he got 20 years for that shit. Then in 2016, Zimmerman said he got punched in the face at a bar, right? And you know he didn't get punched by no black man. You know he got punched by a white dude who probably had to put that motherfucker in his place and remind him, you still a spick, nigga. Like, don't get it fucked up. I'll punch you. You know, he probably got punched by Chris Hellman or one of these Thor lookalike niggas. And, you know, they just was on some old, don't try me. I'm not Zimmerman. I will knock your teeth out. You know what I mean? Because he knows who to try that shit with. So all I'm doing is I'm showing you the lengthy rap report, the lengthy rap sheet to solidify the fact that this man was a straight up criminal. He is not that he was a criminal. He is a criminal, and he's a criminal in his actions. He's a criminal because, as you can see, after his acquittal, he continued to commit crimes. He continues to commit crimes, and he doesn't get punished for these crimes. Okay? So if Trayvon Martin was given the ability to live, I highly doubt that Trayvon Martin's rap sheet would look like that. He would not be running around getting locked up, punched in the face at the bar, aggravating and assaulting women. That young man looked like he would have made somebody's daughter very proud, and he would have settled himself down somewhere in Florida. You know what I'm talking about? And he probably would have, you know, whatever he was into, he would have got into that. So Zimmerman and his legal woes, right? Zimmerman's legal problems. Okay. George Zimmerman allegedly threatened Beyonce and Jay-Z, said he's bringing hell to the celebrity couple. So, Jay-Z, right? George Zimmerman has allegedly threatened them. A series of text message. Zimmerman says that if he ever sees the couple, they'll find themselves in a 13-foot gator. He went on to insult the two music moguls. He called Beyonce a broke whore and Jay-Z a bitch. Oh yeah, and tell Jay-Z he's a bitch and his wife's a broke whore. One of the text messages read, and I'm bringing hell with me. Zimmerman added, right? In May, Zimmerman was charged with misdemeanor stalking and harassing Warren, right? In a 9-day span, Zimmerman called Warren 55 times and left 36 voicemails and texted him over 65 times. I think that nigga knows my stalker because him and my stalker, that sounds like they probably went to the same school or some shit. Zimmerman and my stalker. Or Zimmerman might be my stalker. Cause that sounds like that's the same shit I be going through. You know? So this nigga went and threatened Bonnie and fucking Clyde, bro. Not Bonnie and Clyde. This Zimmerman went and threatened Bonnie and Clyde. Now I know why the fucking name of the tour was called On the Run. This nigga went and threatened Bonnie and fucking Clyde. J and B, my nigga. He didn't know Jay-Z blows cars up when he sent to his girl, right? See, nobody talks about this, right? Nobody talks about the fact that Harvey Weinstein is behind the Trayvon Martin documentary, and nobody talks about Harvey Weinstein is behind the Khalif Browder documentary, and nobody talks about the fact that Jay-Z and Harvey Weinstein were very, very cozy with each other. And nobody demands that Jay-Z denounce Harvey Weinstein. Well, I'm saying this. I'm saying that all of the rappers are compromised because all of the rappers have been around the spirit cookers. The rappers are connected to the Clintons. The rappers are connected to Weinstein. The rappers are connected to Gates. The rappers are connected to Trump. Now, the thing with the rappers that they're so fucking retarded that they thought that the Democrats were the good guys, and they thought that sucking up to the Democrats was the way to go because Messy Jesse, Clarence Avant, all of these Chichiman, uh, Quincy Jones, you know, all of these black glitterati boule niggas told the rappers and the actors and the athletes who to basically sleep with. That's who they told them. They told them who to lay down with. You dig? They told them whose palms to grease in order to get through the next door, right? That's what they told them to do. Clarence Avant, the black godfather, that nigga looks like he sets niggas up to get, you know, Clarence Avant looks like a matchmaker. That's his job. He's setting up Clive Davis with whatever young buck he wants to have that day. That's who Clarence Avant is. Clarence Avant is he's the fixer. He calls you and tells you what room to go to or what door to walk through. That's what he does. He's not just a fixer. He's the nigga. He's a flipper. He's out there because when you look at the documentary, all of the young niggas that's associated with Clarence Avant have been rumored to be you know, you know, that them niggas grab their ankles. LL Cool J and Will Smith. Yeah, yeah, you really helped them out, didn't you, Clarence? You know? So there are gatekeepers in the industry. There are gatekeepers in the industry who are right behind the camera. They don't want the cameras on them. They don't want their faces out there. They're behind the camera. They're in the cut. Like that nigga that was behind Teddy Riley dancing and shit. Preston. I used to see him everywhere. You know what I'm talking about? He's always in the cut, like Fredo Santana, right? He's always in the cut. So they always got the fixers in the cut. All of these celebrity dudes, they always have handlers. The handlers are in the cut. The niggas that be in the cut, they the ones doing the cutting. The niggas that's in the cut, the management that's not on camera, that's always behind the scenes while the talent is working, they behind the camera scheming on the talent. Okay? So if the rappers want to be down with consciousness, they got to denounce all these people. They got to denounce the pedophiles. They got us doing it. They made Obama denounce Farrakhan. Fuck that. You niggas better denounce Hillary Clinton next time I see y'all. Or y'all niggas is y'all might as well go and move in with the Clinton. Go move in with Chelsea and them. Because you know, how you gonna make it out here? How you gonna make it in the hood? How you gonna make it in the trenches? In COVID-19 news, they just knocked off uh, a doctor that was on the verge of a breakthrough, and then they blamed it on a love triangle. I think they try to say he was gay, and they killed like 3 people at once, right? Mr. Lou had the front and rear patio doors open to his townhouse because of the nice weather. His wife was not home, right? His wife was not home, so he had a wife. Police believe that Mr. Gu had unobstructed access to the residence in the 200 block of Elm Court. An autopsy showed that Mr. Liu was shot in the head, neck, torso, and an extremity. I guess that's his wood. After the shooting, Mr. Gu walked to his car, which was parked about 200 yards away on Charlemagne Circle, and killed himself, right? Sergeant Colehep said he does not anticipate anyone being charged in connection with Mr. Liu's death. He added, however, that investigators are still reviewing evidence, right? Franklin Park Police Chief said Wednesday that he had no record of calls for service at Mr. Gu's home and that his department had minimal involvement in the case, which was handled by Ross Police. We just assisted them going to the residence and making notifications. So that line right there goes to show you that the police, they're passing the buck to other police departments. They're saying we're not investigating it. We don't know what's happening. You know what that means. You know what that means. That's an inside hit. That means that case closed. He got his head knocked off. We done hit him up, right? They saw that his doors and everything was open. He was on the verge of a significant breakthrough in the COVID-19. You know what I'm talking about? And then they said, now the police are saying that the slaying didn't involve his work. How the fuck do you know he's dead? How you know? How do you know? You didn't question. You don't even know. So Mr. Gu, the person who shot him, was the chief software architect at a power management company based in Ireland with a location in Moon. Mr. Liu had worked under Ivet Bahar, the head of Pitt's Computational and System Biology Department. She said he was well liked and in the process of studying the infection mechanism of COVID-19. Police previously said the two men knew each other, but they have remained mum about a possible motive for the shooting. Okay? So going back to the Jay-Z story, I just had to take that brief COVID break. Going back to the Jay-Z story, where's the troll at? What's the troll's name? I wasn't even here. All right, troll. I got the troll going to a block party. We got the troll on a block party. Okay. So I don't understand how Jay-Z is running around putting on some tough guy shit. And you got George Zimmerman. I mean, he made it personal between you and him. Now this is on your hands, Sean, Mr. Carter. This is no longer in the hands of Zimmerman, I mean of Trayvon Martin's father. This is in your hand, young Hova. Now, in my mind, I'm like, oh, Zimmerman out here threatening Hova. Well, shit. That's the kind of he done put a rope around his neck. That's the kind of slip up that we need because we know that Jay-Z is gonna handle it because he's a tough guy, right? That's Jay-Z. He said that he's the general of the Geechee army, right? And we know that Jay-Z is the king of he's the king of clapbacks, right? So he's throwing rocks and hiding hands because, yeah, he said that the streets is done. He said in the rhyme that the streets is done because Zimmerman was around, but Zimmerman threatened you and your wife, homie, and he went to jail for that shit. Zimmerman caught a charge for that. Did you understand what I'm saying? He was going so hard on Jay-Z that he caught a charge, bro. Zimmerman was charged with misdemeanor stalking and harassing Warren. In a 9-day span, Zimmerman called Warren 55 times, left 36 voicemails, and texted him over 65 times. He said he's gonna put them inside of a gator. He's gonna feed them to alligators. That's racist white Floridian talk. Niggas could tell you to feed you to a fucking gator, right? But this nigga, all this nigga does is sign drug dealers to his label and alleged gangsters. So who the fuck does Zimmerman have to threaten to get up out of here? Let me know. Is it DMX? Who does Zimmerman? Because if he could threaten this nigga and still be alive and still be chilling, it's not even like he's not even on a run. Zimmerman is just, I don't even think he's practicing stay at home. That nigga might be walking around with no mask on. But here you go. You got 5 shooters on your label, right? And a possible, my nigga. So your hand, the motherfucking hand that you dealt with, nigga got 5 shooters. You got Jeezy. I'm not saying that he's a shooter, but where's the entourage? Then you signed Griselda. These niggas supposed to be tough guys from Buffalo, rough buff. Then you got Yo Gotti, right? He's from Memphis, Tennessee, which is the murder capital, and we know how he gives it up. Young Dolph, who was a somebody he had problems with, got his Jeep shot up 100 times. Thank God it was bulletproof. And then we got Meek Mill, Mr. Motherfucking Dream Chaser, Dreams and Nightmares, do Papa Willie on 2 bikes at the same time. He got them niggas in Philadelphia with long beards, and they would do anything that Meek Mill tells them to do, let alone the big homie. Then you got Little Uzi Vert. Has anybody seen The Wire with Omar? Did you see the motherfucker? Omar was the gay shooter. Little Uzi Vert got a whole legion of gay shooters. He could get Young Thug active. So you got 5 shooters in a possible. Oh yeah, casting over 2 times too. I forgot about casting over 2 times too. Then you got Fabulous from Brevoy, and all of them niggas is running around, and you know what they put in work. So what the fuck is going on over there? We can't get no smoke. We can't even get a bar. There's no lyrics coming after Zimmerman. I didn't see no effigies in none of these niggas' videos. There's no smoke on social media. Nigga. Oh, Philly ain't jacking Meek Mill no more? Who y'all jacking? Gilly the Kid? Talk black to me. Wallow 27? Who is Philadelphia jacking? I thought Meek Mill could call a shot. Yeah, you're not gonna threaten my wife. We could play hardball. We could play ball, but you're not gonna threaten the Wiz. You're not gonna threaten the Wizington. And the Wiz got children from that man. The Wiz got children from that man. You're not gonna threaten my Wiz, bro. You're gonna mistakenly slip into the pool while your hands were tied. That's how they're gonna find you. Oh, he just slipped in the pool by mistake while he was cleaning it, whilst in handcuffs and blindfolded. But don't pay attention to any of that. That's probably his fashion for the day. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, really? That this nigga has that much pull that he threatened Jay-Z and his fucking wife. And this nigga has 5 shooters in a possible. Let's not activate Rihanna. She'll shoot a nigga with that forehead. You know what I'm talking about? And then, I mean, you mean to tell me you nobody can do no work for you, Jay-Z? So my thing with him is, please don't come out with no album where you talking tough. Stop talking tough. Stop acting like you the boss. Stop acting like you running shit. Stop acting like you leading all of the OGs and you the king of niggas who just came home because you know you're not. No, that's not what's happening. You're not showing signs of leadership. You're supposed to clean this nigga up a long time ago, and I would have been wearing a paper plane hat. I would have rooted for you. Now that forehead is real, right? She could take a plane down with that shit. Now I'm gonna leave y'all with this. This is how clownish the news has gotten. This is how fake, and they're not hiding it anymore. Okay, this is not. This is real. This is not a. This is not Photoshop. The CBS News has took it to the point where they are giving you CBS All Access, right? Real news, cartoon coverage every day. So they taking it to where they're turning the newscasters into cartoon characters. Red, you were praising Jay-Z after Jay Electronica album. I'm confused. Nigga, you gonna stay confused. You know what I'm talking about? I didn't say that I didn't like the fucking music. Did I just say that? I'm kindly, politely asking this nigga's questions about where's the fucking smoke. Am I allowed to do that? Like, can I question this man about what is his smoke ratio? Nigga, I could praise anybody for an album, but I'm in hindsight, I'm like, nigga, that's a L right there. Like, you know, you're not looking real gangster right now, and that's your persona. And it's hunting season, and Jay-Z, you cried over Trayvon Martin. If you was behind the documentary, you cried about that young man. You felt the pain. You looked in his mother's eyes. You looked in his father's eyes, and his father was trembling and whatnot. So, as any man, and you have children now, and you from the streets. We should not have to talk to you about this on YouTube. You know what the fucking mandates are. This is not. This is this the man who killed that young man is a killer. He is a cold-blooded killer, and he doesn't care about anyone. So Nip was more of a gangster than Jay-Z. All right. Did anybody, was there somebody refuting that he wasn't? I'm confused. He was in a gang. He was an active gang member. So Jay-Z is not in a gang. Like, if you were an active gang member, yeah, you would be expected to get busy. Like, you know what I'm talking about? You can expect. I would expect that nigga to get busy if he's active. I'm not expecting a Jay Z to get busy. He's not active. That nigga said he sold crack, and we know that he's not selling crack no more. So whatever he said that he was, he's not that. I'm not expecting him to be that. He wasn't a drug dealer all the way in the 90s when he came out. I didn't believe that he was a drug dealer. He just knows how to articulate shit like that. And, and to be honest with you, the fact that I don't really see him as a drug dealer allows me to reinterpret the rhymes that he writes and to let it fit my taste. Because if he's talking about moving birds or kilos, I could attribute that to kilos of sea moss. If he's talking about moving weight, I could attribute that to moving clothes. You know what I mean? I could flip it. But if I really thought that he was out there selling drugs and poisoning the community and, killing people, it wouldn't have, I'm not looking for that. I don't need that. You know what I mean? Music to me is entertainment. You don't have to be who you're entertaining to be, nigga. That's an alter ego. You know what I'm talking about? I'm cool with that. But in real life, this ain't the game. This ain't a game no more. This is not alter ego. This ain't rap, nigga. This is real life. So in real life, the question is, are you going to use your influence and your power, right? I'm not impressed with you doing, with a documentary any rapper could do a I could do a documentary. I ain't a rapper like that. I'm not signed to a label. You know what I mean? I don't have the resources that rappers who are signed to banks have. They could any rapper signed to a bank could negotiate anything with the rappers come across so many opportunities just on a daily basis that they can manifest anything if they put their management and their minds and their resources to it. Who was filming a video in Georgia? The person filming the video in Georgia was in collusion with the shooters. It was another European. It was three of them who hunted the black man, the young brother Ahmed, down. The two, the father and son, and the one that was filming the video, that's one of their partners. That's one of their partners. Okay? It was fucking Buzz Lightyear. And what's the other nigga from Cars, Radiator Valley? It was getting too late, man. It was getting too late. The ancestors had to remind me, nigga, it's getting late. You need to shut it down. So I'm going ahead and take me some mushrooms. You know what I'm talking about? And I'm going to escape into the ethers, you know, because it's this moon, and this moon is really talking to me like this is a Scorpio moon, and you know, I need to tap in. So, you know, it is what it is. It's been fun tonight. I encourage y'all to go and get the tickets to May 15th. Professor Griff, Red Pill, Supernova Slum, Fear of a Black Planet 2020. And you know, the plug. You don't got work. I mean, we're gonna do a retreat. That I can't, you know, we'll do a retreat. And when you come on the retreat, you'll be able to do anything that you want to do to tap into your higher faculties. You feel me? You know, but if you can go and go and meditate, you know, go and create. You don't gotta meditate. Get a paint. If you a painter, go and paint. If you a rapper, go and rap, go and write. If you're a writer, contemplate something monumental. Tap into a Scorpio energy, resurrection, rebirth, death cycle, right? When I say death cycle, it doesn't mean dead. It means a death cycle is summer, spring, winter, fall. That's a death cycle. The same thing that the leaves in the trees go through. They blossom and then they close. They blossom and then they close. It's a cycle. It's nothing good or bad about it. It's just a cycle. So that's what this is. But love and light. I'll see y'all on Monday. We'll have more things to talk about. We'll talk a little bit about the shout out to all of my stream chasers. We out here chasing streams. We get into this bag. We making things possible, right? We're making things. We're not solving everything, but we're making things possible. Okay, and that's all we really need to do is to make some things possible so we can make the impossible possible. But it's gonna take. You can't do that shit overnight. You gotta take steps. So, love and light. Y'all be good. All right.